Go. Let's rock and roll. All right, guys. We're gonna start, so. Okay.
Hi, Veronica.
Hi, Jim.
What's the
There's
date?
a Charles Rowley here, okay. Okay, we'll look at that in a minute.
What's up, Jakey?
Veronica.
He's got a funeral, a wake.
How do you like this, this new cover page?
Nice. Yeah.
All right, everyone, please, be seated and be a little quiet so we could start. I want to welcome everyone for our bi-weekly meeting for the Wareham Zoning Board of Appeals. It is Wednesday, July 13, 2022. It is 6:35 p.m. and we are at the Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. I'm going to call the meeting to order. I'll do a roll call. To my far left, Mr. Jake Morrison. To my far right, Mr. Troy Larson, Veronica Devenese, and our clerk, Jim Akabachi, myself, Chairman Nazi Al-Khalasi. Also, we have present independent PE, Mr. Charles Rowley, consultant, independent consultant. We have some preliminary business to do with the minutes. Won't take long, just give us a minute. I did review these minutes. Who did?
Regarding the minutes, they've all been distributed by email. This is minutes for up to 20 different meetings that at one time or another either didn't get signed or didn't get transcribed. I've been reviewing them as they've been being transcribed. I don't know if other members of the board
I
have or
have.
not.
I
You
have. I went through them quick.
I
so-
found a few issues that got corrected. We don't have them here tonight. If we vote, I'll go into the office and sign them all tomorrow.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve and accept them all as presented and reviewed.
Do you have a second? I'll second that if there's none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose, abstain. Okay, we're gonna jump to Woodland Cove, a review of compliance with the special permit. This thing, I think we should do a visit. Charlie, have you been visiting there?
I've been visiting there as they've requested inspections, yes.
Okay, I think, members of the board, we should just take a walk there, check it out, talk to the super there, see, make sure everything in place, just to make sure we're all on the same page. That's a big project to let just go until the end.
Yeah. Is there some business in front of us tonight in regards to that?
No, no, but
Yes, there
Monique,
is.
maybe we could schedule an appointment with the,
Oh, wait a minute.
Sure, Mr.
Mr.
Chair.
Buckland's trying to chime in.
Yes.
oh, okay. Ken?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the Board of Appeals. This is a comprehensive permit that you issued back in 2018. It's been modified somewhat over the last couple of years, and it's under construction. However, there was a question about compliance with the conditions of the special permit. Just to point out a few of them, there is an NPDS, a NIPDES permit from the US EPA that is necessary to be submitted. I don't know about the landscaping plans, if they've been approved as yet, but it's necessary for them to be approved. The regulatory and monitoring agreement is necessary. A construction mitigation plan is needed for dust control and erosion measures.
Okay, Kenny, I don't want to, if I may interrupt, they requesting these things?
No, you requested them in the special permit when you
Right.
issued the,
So that's why I'm saying we should go visit and make sure they're in compliance.
Maybe
I'm
he's-
pointing out the conditions that are not in compliance at this time.
Okay, good, Mark.
Ken, we're having a hard time understanding you. I'm going to ask the
If I-
person working Zoom to maybe put the mic closer to the speaker or something.
If I may,
Is-
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
Hi. So what Ken is saying is that back in I believe 2018, you have conditions, and Ken
Yeah.
has gone through those conditions and found some discrepancies in terms of items that the applicant has yet to provide. So I think, it makes sense for you guys to do a site visit, but Ken has already identified some items that are
Okay.
missing.
All right, that's great. All right, that's why I think we
So
should
that's
go.
what,
So-
he's given us his list of.
So can I get some clarification, though? It sounds like, if there's paperwork that hasn't been filed that makes them out of compliance, should we wait till they are in compliance in terms of paperwork? Or are they going to
Yeah,
continue with the
absolutely.
project before they're
No,
in
they should
compliance?
file. They shouldn't be working without papers. They have to be in compliance, or
So-
they're gonna stop.
So once everything's in compliance, then a site visit to review?
Absolutely, we should.
Correct, because one of the items, as Ken was mentioning, was a landscape plan. So even if you did a site visit, you wouldn't necessarily know what was supposed to be there if we don't have that, landscape plan, et cetera. So I think that makes sense.
All right, well, this is the deal. They gotta provide everything. Just let them know.
Sure.
Whatever Ken asking for, and we gotta go for a site visit. Maybe Charlie can be with us.
Sure.
We should coordinate at least 3 of us, or 2 at least. But more than 3, we can't.
We can do it as a scheduled,
Yeah, we have to do it publicly. We have to.
we have to say when.
Right, exactly. So if it's gonna happen before next meeting, we have to be 3 and under. If it's gonna happen after the second meeting, so we could vote to go over 3, okay?
So will the board be informed once they're in compliance in terms of paperwork so that we can schedule a meeting?
Well, they're gonna have to. They're gonna have
Correct,
to
yes.
let us know.
Ken, did Monique express what you were trying to say well enough? Is there more?
She did. It's just that some of the paperwork, some of the compliance sections require you to make decisions, such as the amount of the surety that it applies to the construction of the roadway.
And do we need to act on that tonight?
You don't have the information to act on tonight. It hasn't been submitted.
So it has to happen at another time.
Yeah, and we need them here. We need somebody from them here, the attorney or somebody, to show us what they're doing.
They may be online.
Let's find out.
Peter Freeman or Muammar Hermanstein.
Are they online?
Got anybody waving a hand or anybody in the room here tonight for this project that represents the developer?
There's Peter Freeman.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I've been trying to find out how to be heard. So,
Your name's,
again-
who's this?
for the record, Peter Freeman, attorney for the developer, the permit holder. So, just briefly, the fact that this is on the agenda is not a surprise. Ken had let us know. I don't believe that the things that he just briefly listed are necessarily outstanding, but I have no problem with either Ken assisting you in going through questions about compliance. The only things that I recall discussing a few weeks ago with Ken Buckland related to the surety for the road, as he just said. But if there are other things, which I believe he did just list a few, like the NIPDs, if the engineer, I don't think our engineer is here, so I can't speak directly to that. I'm told that that was done. But I have no problem with, with a fair process, as the chairman said, and I think, Ken Buckland will agree. Ken, if you can give us a list of the things, you don't need to give back explanations, whether it's an email or a letter. You can send me a list of what you think is not in compliance, and we'll have time to go over that with you before whenever the next meeting is. We, of course, would be happy to do that. I can assure you, board members, that nothing has been omitted intentionally. We certainly want to work with you and continue to cooperate and, continue to make this happen. So that's really, unless you have other specific questions, that's how I see it. Thank you.
All right, why don't we do this? Why don't we start there, and then we go from there? Counselor, can you make sure you get these information to them at the latest by the end of next week. This way we could see where we stand for the next hearing.
Sure. I can send information related to the estimate on the road completion for that portion in the comprehensive permit, which is the access area from the project to Red Brook Road. But as I said, if Ken can fairly quickly give me a list of the other things, then we'll certainly, I presume, be able to get all that information prior to the end of next week as well.
I can do that.
All right, very well.
Can we tentatively set something up for our site visit before the next meeting?
Sure.
So-
All right, why don't we do for that? What's a good time for you guys? And who would like to attend? Charlie, how's your schedule?
Next Wednesday is out for me. Other than that, I'm open.
Okay,
We're assuming that
Tuesday.
the landscaping and everything that we need is
Well,
going to be submitted.
Site visit, we'll deal with the papers later, but we should go site visit.
Just to walk around and see what's going on.
What, Tuesday? Tuesday, 9 o'clock?
9 AM Tuesday morning? Jake, are you gonna be able, you want to go, or?
All right,
Okay.
Tuesday,
I can go.
The 19th?
The 19th, yeah.
19th.
At what time, so I can make sure my client and the project
9
construction
AM,
folks are there?
Counselor. We do 9 AM.
9 AM on site.
Yeah, thank you, yeah.
Thank you, Counselor.
And what would be the date of your next hearing? Is it the first Wednesday in August, or is it
It's the 27th of this
July
month,
27th?
July
Okay,
27th.
Yeah,
All right,
thank
thank
you.
you. Thanks, Counselor. All right, we're gonna go to the appeal of the comprehensive permit from Settlers Glen.
I want it Tuesday, what date is Tuesday?
All right, what's your name for the record?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the Wareham Zoning Board of Appeals. My name's Michael O'Shaughnessy. I'm here tonight on behalf of Settlers Glen LLC. With me tonight is Ivo Cole. He is one of the principals of the LLC. You folks should have a letter from me requesting an order directing the onset water department to approve our plans.
In order from who?
From you folks. You are the permitting authority under Chapter 40B.
Right,
Have you
right.
seen my
Well-
letter, Mr. Chairman?
I see that, but like we talked before, we can only say we cannot make them, we can't order them.
I disagree with that, Mr. Chairman. In speaking with Attorney Bowen, he seemed to agree that this board has the power to issue such an order.
We did issue, we said to let your client connect, but we cannot, if they say no, that becomes a civil matter.
With all due respect, Mr. Chairman, I'm looking for a written order from the commission, this board. I filed with you last week a proposed order that specifically listed what we were asking this board to do. I'd be happy to go through it if you...
Go through it, because I didn't see it.
Wait a
in my-
minute,
Yeah,
just before you, so is this, did we not approve something that has to do with water, and is this to change what we approved? Or is this,
If I may I approach the...
yeah, go ahead. I'll explain it quick, Jim. We approved to let them connect with the water with the previous fees. You know how they
right,
raise their
I got all
fees?
that, yeah.
And let them connect, tap on the whatever 8-inch line, whatever, I forget what the plans was. So I guess they went to the water department, correct me, Counselor, they went to the water department said, no, we're not gonna let you connect at this fee, you wanna pay a higher fee.
So, Mr. Chairman, that's
Oh,
what we had come before you folks before was we were asking for an order to approve the connection as shown on the plans that you folks had approved. And if you recall, at that time, there was some discussion that the Water Commission did not see the application, which I disagree with. There was evidence in your files that showed it was provided to them, and they are listed in the decision. What we had asked for at that time was to order the connection. What this board had did was say, okay, we kind of want to split the baby, not throw out the baby with the bathwater and split it in half. And what you folks did is said, okay, extend the water line from the cul-de-sac, because if you recall, that's where it terminated, to the edge of Cranberry Highway. And that was related to the insubstantial change that you folks had voted on at the last hearing, okay? And at that time, you said you established the fees that were based, that were in effect at that time. If you look at the correspondence I've provided to you, we have no approvals from the Onset Water Department. We have nothing. We have no cooperation. We have gaps in reviews. We started this process back in August. Our first response letter from their engineer was in October of last year. We addressed their comments. We've resubmitted it to them. In April, we got a next set of comments that had more changes. Again, they've always had all the information in front of them. If you recall, they're trying to require us to bring the water line from the edge of Cranberry Highway to a water main that they own in the road. There's no written requirement in the regulations that make it necessary for us to do this.
Every developer in town and every other town, you dig the hole, either you bring a company to tap or the town taps for you and charge you.
I'm not disputing that part of it. I'm saying they're requiring a loop system, Mr. Chairman.
Well,
They're
that's
requiring it
their
from one main
policy.
to the other main.
We've went to this many times, but let me explain it to you again and again. We said they have to give you water at this price. The technicality part of it, we're not a professional in water system. It's their design. If they not treating you like they treating everyone else, I understand. But as I know from the town in Onset and Wareham, this is their requirement. They need a loop system, and you have to provide this.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, that is not right. There is no written requirement for a loop system. It doesn't exist in the
It's their
regulations.
policy.
There's no written requirement in their regulations. It was not in effect at the time that this permit was
Is
approved
there
by you
a
folks.
written requirement about clarifying the pipe and put chlorine in a pipe?
Oh, you have to stay on the touch line. Of course you do.
And
Yes,
okay,
we're
but
not disputing
where is
that.
that written? Same thing.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that. But in any event, Mr. Chairman, when you folks reviewed this change back in February, you did not have the benefit of their engineer reviewing everything. Their last change from their engineer asked for the addition of they wanted us to extend it across the street, and they specified an additional valve. We have no problem providing the valve, but we're not extending it across the street. So what we're asking you folks to do is to approve the plans that we've provided with my letter. It's our May set of plans, revised through May. It incorporates everything that their engineer had asked for, but the last valve, and we can include that. And then, with an order in hand, we can go to them and say, let us connect. You have an order of this board that says you are requiring the Onset Water Department to allow this project to connect to their system.
I personally can't do this. I cannot do this because we're not water superintendent and technician with water. We can only make the water department give you water at the certain price we provided or a tap fee. I forget. I think we said one tap fee. I forgot.
Whatever it is.
But whatever that is, but we're not an executive board. We're not the one that makes you. You need a person with the black robe, not us.
Mr. Chairman, I need to start with you folks.
We gave you our word.
Mr. Chairman, I'm asking you to approve the May 12, 2022 set of plans that incorporates all of the changes that the Onset Water Department's engineer had asked for.
I can't do this personally. It's gonna be a major modification. You gotta come back before us with major modification. I mean, you're asking us to look at plans that were approved 2 years ago, or whatever, and it's not in front of us, and we cannot go about.
He said May 12, 2022.
Mr. Chairman, this is the, yes, May 12, 2022. This is the insubstantial change that you folks approved at the last hearing.
So where is that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Where's that plan right now? Who has it?
It's on file with the zoning
Is there
board of
one in
appeals.
front of us tonight?
I did not submit it. It's
Okay.
online.
So,
I'm sorry, let me see. May 12, we approved the changes to rental, not the water. That was an appeal in court with the housing committee from sale to rental. That's what we approved. We didn't talk about water or anything.
Mr. Chairman, if you look in my package, you'll see a letter from Blattman, Bobrowski, and Haverty LLC.
Which page? Which number?
I'm
Are these
sorry,
pages
Mr.
numbered?
It's, if it's on my sheet, it's number 3 from the bottom. It's about 10
Three
pages
sheets from the
in.
bottom?
Yes.
Three
I-
sheets from
I'm
the...
sorry, Mr., it's 10 sheets from the front.
10 sheets from the front.
Yes, sir.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
11 sheets.
10. Request
let-
for insubstantial change, June 17, 2022?
Yes, sir.
From Mark
Mark Bobrowski, correct.
Request for insubstantial Settlers Glen, map 8, lot, blah, blah, blah. Let's read this, Naz, and see.
Go
if-
ahead.
I don't mean out loud, you know.
So tell us the paragraph that specify that.
Well, if you go to item 17 on page 4 of the letter, that's where it incorporates your requirements from your February decision with respect to installing the loop main to Cranberry Highway and establishing the fee. At one point in time, this board was not comfortable approving the plans because it hadn't been reviewed by your engineer.
Yeah, but
Mr. Chairman-
17, what the 17 says? It says the looped 8-inch water main will be installed by the applicant through the easement to the property line of Cranberry Highway.
That's right.
And that's what you want us to enforce tonight?
What I'm asking you, Mr. Chairman and other
Yeah.
members, I'm asking for an order from this board directing the onset water department to allow us to connect to their system as shown on the plans that are on file with the zoning board of appeals.
Mr.
And I'm
Chairman?
suggesting that, I'm suggesting that it incorporates all the changes that the water department's engineer had requested. I have them highlighted in the package that I had just given you. But for their last change that came last week,
I think Ken is trying to make a comment.
I guess Ken's trying to make a comment, Naz, and
Who, Ken?
Yeah.
All right, Ken, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
Ken,
it comes down to this. Settlers Glen developer does not want to make a looped water line, and the water department in Onset wants a looped water line. The Onset Water Department also wants a high fee to be paid, and the Settlers Glen developer does not want to pay the high fee. The connection he's talking about is the connection into Red Brook Road, not the looped water line. The loop is the sticking point.
all right, and in page, whatever page is, condition number 8, at the board meeting held on January 12, 2022, and January 26, 2022, attended the LLC and the Onset Water Department. The board voted to require the LLC to install the water line through an easement to Cranberry Highway and establish fee $42,840 for the tap on Red Brook Road, and for each service fee tap $35.40. This is what we establish. If let me finish. If they gonna make you loop, right? Our conditions is $42,840. They can't charge you another loop. This is our condition, period. If they wanna make you loop 3-4 times, but you gotta do the work.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not suggesting we're not trying to avoid the work. What I'm
Okay.
suggesting is we're not extending the system beyond what's shown on the plans. And what I'm asking this board for is an order directing the Onset Water Department to review the plans and approve same. You have the authority under the regulations to do it.
I can't do this personally. I can't do it because we're not pipe layer professionals. Whatever you put on the plan, we assume at one point you're gonna go to water department and they address you accordingly. Just like, for instance, like I said before, if we say you could go build a wall out of 2x4, and the building commissioner, the building code requires 2x6, it's 2x6.
Mr. Chairman, I don't want to waste the board's time with this.
I don't either.
I
don't want to waste your time either.
But what I would ask then for is the board to vote to deny my request for a written order, directing the Onset Water Department to approve the plans in my letter, and I'll take it up with the next level.
I'm not voting on any plan that I haven't seen. I'm not voting on something that's not in front of me. I'll abstain. Because the plan that you're asking me to vote on isn't here.
Ken, can you pull it up? Do you have access to it?
Let me see if I can pull it up.
It's on the website.
Right.
If I may, members of the
Yeah,
board.
go ahead.
I just wanted to say that have spoken with town council. Attorney Bowen has mentioned to us and directed that this board does have the authority to issue that order.
Okay, but we did issue our permit. We're not gonna deviate from it without a major major public hearing. That's
And
not
we're
a
not
ma-
asking you to deviate from it in any way. We're asking simply for an order to be able to go back to them with the
So
order.
your problem, you wanna bring it to the edge of the pavement. You want the Onset Water Department to bring it in the middle of the road?
As agreed to.
And I don't understand why you won't bring it to the road. It's only another 20 feet.
It was already, well, another 20 feet over a major road is much more expensive. Not only that, we had already had plans that stopped at the cul-de-sac, and we believe that we've already bent and tried to negotiate and decided that we could come to the edge of the property line.
Okay.
And that was what was agreed to with this board, and we're simply trying to move forward with that, but
All
we're
right,
not
is there
allowed.
is there a line at the, Mr. Diaz, is it Diaz?
O'Shaughnessy? Yeah.
Ken Diaz, can you come forward, please? All right. We're not gonna go in like public hearing. I just wanna ask you a question. Behind them at the trailer park, is there a water main there, like an 8-inch water main?
Red Brook Road has an 8-inch main.
Right, how about the
Cranberry Highway has a 12-inch main. The trailer park has private, insubstantiated main sizes, 1 inch, inch and a half. It's private. But what I'd like to clarify is I think that it's possible that Attorney Freeman and Mr. Cole have not seen the most recent plans that were submitted to me just recently. They were digital, so they're not official, but they showed them connecting all the way to Cranberry Highway, connecting to the 12-inch main on Cranberry Highway. They show a 12x8T. They show the crossing. They show it coming connected to the main that he's saying terminates at the edge of Cranberry Highway and continuing on to the cul-de-sac. What issue we have, and again, all along, we've been ready to move on this project since last year, so all we required of them is to show the loop main in the plans and agree that they are responsible for the cost associated. So in this most recent set of digital plans, which again, we're still in between a pre-submittal and review phase because the plans are not fully accepted yet because we have comments. Now, in their comment number 11, they listed the work of crossing Cranberry Highway, which was shown on the plans, as being done by others. Well, we require to say done by proponent. So that's the last sticking point. Once they agree to that, then we can move to the next phase, which is the approval phase, and we can have a discussion of fees. So we're right there. It's just that comment number 11 needs to be changed, and we accept the plans. It's
Okay,
that simple.
and just to clarify for you, our discussion fees, we set the fees. You want to change them, you have to deal with HUD, not with us, with the housing
well,
committee.
We set fees after we've accepted
I
plans. So
totally
those fees are
understand,
not-
this
yeah.
is your way, but I guarantee you, if you're gonna go to HUD, you're not gonna like the
Please
answer.
refer to the letter from Attorney Gay on October 8th of 2021, which clearly states that we are not a local board and that we are an independent
gave
authority.
that letter?
Attorney Gay sent you a letter on
That's your
October
attorney.
8th, 2021.
Sir, listen, I'm a fair person, I'm not taking no one's side. This is your attorney and his opinion. Zoning Board of Appeal is the granting authority, whether we say you get water or you don't sewer, yes or no. And the fees, you wanna deviate for it, that's perfectly fine, but you'll end up in housing and you have to deal with the housing chairman, not with us.
We're not deviating. We're actually
I may-
consistent with every other development that
If
we
I
have.
may,
I'm not
for
gonna
us-
argue this part.
If I may, for us to go to Housing Appeals Court, we will need the order in order to,
I'm not with you. You could pull a vote. You gotta get a 4 out of 5. Let me finish. You, if you got an order, if 4 out of 5 gives you an order to go, you got it. If not, you're not getting it. You have to, you can always
and we'll
appeal
take
to
it-
housing.
and we'll take it to the next level at that point.
Your previous attorney, Mr. Bobrowski, appealed and won with the rental. You
Correct.
you might win.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, one meeting or another, we had offered to have your engineer look at it, Mr. Rowley. There's enough information there that there should be no issue with him looking at it and say, I don't see any issue with you folks approving this design.
It's gotta be looped. I'm doing something myself on Main Street, and even 2-inch they want it looped in Wareham.
Mr. Chairman, all I'm suggesting, it's not a requirement. It wasn't initially approved by the board on this plans. If at the time of permitting, this board wanted it, that is what the board should have approved. And if the board is changing its mind, I get it. I'm not here to...
We're not changing our mind. I told you we're not technician, we're not pipe layers. We depend on every department, fire, water, everybody do their thing, and we hope the applicant go forward with it and work with them. And if you don't, that becomes a civil matter.
But what I'm asking this board to do is order the water department to review and approve the plans.
I can do this. I can't deviate. If they want, I'll order them to review and approve plan with the loop.
well,
Again, Mr. Chairman, that's our that's our sticking point. We're trying, a regulation that does not exist in writing anywhere is being applied to the project.
I have a question. What's the sense of ordering somebody to review
right.
and approve? I don't mind telling them that they have to review it, but how can you order them to approve? Then there's
If
no
I
sense
may,
of reviewing it. If I'm
I
ordering
agree.
them to approve, then they don't even need to review it. Just do whatever this guy says. I'm ordering you to do it. It doesn't work in my brain.
But that's the information I've presented to you. What I'm telling you is they have reviewed it. Their engineer has reviewed it.
Well, then why are we ordering them to review it?
We're not.
We're asking them to
comment.
review and
So if
approve
they-
it.
We're
asking-
we're-
One at a
we're
time, one
asking,
at a time.
if I may, we're asking this board to order them to issue the permit, the connection permit, and to approve the plans.
They will
Approve,
issue it.
not
and
review,
give you the
because we've already reviewed it several
They will
times.
issue the permit if you comply.
But
You need to comply with the loop. We're not
And
gonna
and
argue
we need an
anymore.
appealable,
We're
we
not
need an
going anywhere
appealable
with this.
order.
Do you want to vote or not?
Yes, please,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Well, how do you feel about it?
I told you, I can't vote in the affirmative without looking at the plan, because I
think the plan
the
is up
plan
on
could
the-
say that they're building a 30-story building, and it has hard water for
Mr.
making
Kennedy,
nuclear
we have the
bombs. I don't know
plan.
what the plan
We
says.
have the
so
plan
this,
up on the.
I've received a more...
I can't see that.
I know. Go
So
ahead.
I've received a plan recently, digitally only, not in hard copy, that shows it, and it shows the easement to the right, connecting to Cranberry Highway, and it has comments about the 12x8 T connection off of the 12-inch cast iron and brings it across, shows all of that, but the comment section, if you were to scroll up on this map, you'd see all the comments. Comment number 11, so if up a little bit further in the upper left corner, it won't be on this plan because this is not the most recent plan submitted to the Water Department.
Okay.
The one submitted to the Water Department shows it connected to Cranberry Highway, but the comment number 11, pointing to that connection across Cranberry Highway, says, work to be performed by others. We responded the same day to Brian Grady at GAF, as well as Mr. O'Brien, and said, this comment needs to be changed to performed by proponent. And yes, it is a long-standing established requirement for looped mains, going back 6, 7, 8 years from other developments that have done it. Mr. O'Brien is well aware of that requirement because in 2018, he signed off on Woodland Cove's permit application requiring, even though
If I may.
at that point, it was a well-established policy of the Onset Water Department to require loop main, which is consistent with all water systems across the state and around the country. It is not an anomaly. It is a consistent pattern. But again, if you're not a water industry professional, you might not be aware of that, and you're frustrated with the cost. I understand that. But we have been willing to approve these plans if submitted to our requirements. Last October, we would have been moving on this if they submitted the plans as we requested and require. We're ready to move.
If I may,
Just must do it properly.
Yeah.
if I may, we keep going back to Woodland Cove. Jim O'Brien, on that particular project, decided to evaluate it with the company that they were working with on that particular project and decided that the cost of looping the water main was something that they were able to
Absorb.
exactly. They were able to negotiate and agree to. I don't really want to talk about that project any longer. I don't think it has anything to do with
Right.
this. Even at that time, the looped water main requirement was not in there, but it was something that was a sticking point, and because of the size of the project, it was something that was able to be absorbed. This project is a much smaller project, a very different project. It's not the same at all. We had established permit, we had plans already submitted, a comprehensive permit, and it's comprehensive for that
This
reason.
project, you can definitely absorb it, because if you go on a regular Form A or a regular Form C, you only get 3 units there. You get 20, 3 or 4 units, that's all what you get.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
If you go in a regular, like, what, MR30 or a Form C or a Form A, that's all what you get.
But that makes it even less absorbable.
Yeah,
understand
but
that.
when you do 3, you do 1-inch tap on Red Brook Road, and you're done
I have another
Mi-
for each.
Mr. Chairman, again, I'd ask the board to be cognizant of the fact is we've been trying since last August to work this out with the water department. There was a vote at one of their meetings that they would try to negotiate with us. And we did not want to put it on the plans that says we are going to do the work, because they'd be here today saying, these guys agreed to do the work. We've tried to negotiate fees, we've tried to meet them halfway, and that's part of our frustration. We're saying, no, 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 this is what you got to do, but it's not a written policy, it's not a written regulation, it's not a written requirement.
But I guarantee you, I've done work in this town for 37 years. It's always, I do the tap, whether in Onset or Wareham.
And
We go on the highway and do it. We're not gonna argue anymore, we're not getting anywhere.
Something I'd like to know.
Yeah,
You say it's a significant cost difference. Right now, as a developer, you guys have capitulated to the point that you will bring everything to the edge of Cranberry Highway. And the sticking point is to get from the curbing on Cranberry Highway to the center of the road and tie in. And you'll even pay for the hardware that's gonna go in that hole. So what you're not willing to pay for is the backhoe to dig, to saw cut the road open, dig the trench, make the tap. Is that the part that you're arguing over?
Mr. Chairman, through you,
Is that where we are?
the scope of that
No.
work is
No, they
is-
want
is
the whole
fairly
thing done by the
significant.
water.
And no, Mr. Chairman, we're hoping that the board, by adopting its decision in February as codified at its last meeting, would look at that us extending the water line from the cul-de-sac, which was on the original approved plans,
Yeah.
was meeting the water department halfway.
I'm not saying that I agree or disagree.
Understood,
I'm trying to
understood.
understand what we're arguing over. I still don't, have you agreed to bring it to the curb of Cranberry Highway?
We
Yes.
are going to bring it to the
Okay,
curb.
so from the curb of Cranberry Highway, you have to saw cut the road, dig a trench, put a pipe in the hole, and make a tap onto the water main. Is there something I'm missing?
I think
You
it's
have
a
to-
little more extensive than that, but
Well,
that's generally the
Simple-
process.
And simple
right,
dummy,
right.
you know, I'm just a dummy that's sitting here trying to understand you complicated people. What, you said it's a significant cost.
So,
So I'm a dummy, so tell me what the significant cost is. How much
So-
money are we
so-
arguing over?
Mr.
I need to
Mr.
put it in
Chairman,
numbers.
through you, we,
I need that number to make a decision. I do. I don't know about the rest of the board, but.
So this is what we've worked on so far. It includes monies that have been submitted, increases in the cost of borrowing. As you folks are aware, the rate to borrow goes up.
you gotta go on the spirit, but let me ask, okay.
Material costs have gone up.
That doesn't answer my
It-
question.
It
This is
affects,
just,
it
this is
affects the
just,
project. To answer your question, we haven't estimated what the final value is.
don't have an idea.
It's about 100 grand.
It's,
To go from,
it's,
to go
it's
from the
more
edge
than
of
that.
Cranberry Highway to the middle of the road and make the
Give me
tap.
the job,
It's-
and do it for 20.
Well, Mr.
Listen.
Chairman, that's what the water department said, and we said we'd gladly pay the $20,000 to do the work. Absolutely. If they would do the connection for $20,000,
I know,
we
I'm
would
just,
cut them a
I
check tomorrow.
spoke, don't take my number. Listen, let
Once-
me explain this to you. If you add your numbers if you financially it's not feasible, you can always go to housing, and housing will give you what you want.
So,
We're not, I am not, I'm speaking for myself, I'm not changing my mind. I can't give you that order.
that's fine, Mr. Chair, and then all I'm asking for the board then is to devote not to grant the order, and then we can deal with it in another form. And that's all we're asking for. I'm not here to
No,
argue
no,
with you guys
I'm
tonight.
not gonna do it without my attorney. I'm not gonna say I'm not granting the order. I already gave you permission to connect with the water. I'm not
We've
I'm not
spoken with
giving no
Attorney.
orders. I'm
we've
not
s-
a judge.
We've spoken with Attorney Bowen, and that there's only one way to move forward, is to have some kind of appealable decision.
Too bad he's not here.
I can't.
Some kind of, either way. All we're looking for is an appealable decision, otherwise we can't move forward. And it's stalled.
Are
it
you
stalls
okay
the
if I
project,
give them
and it has
an
been
order
for a
they
year
can't,
already.
they cannot
It
connect?
has been stalled
I would
already
like
for a year.
to speak with our attorney before we make the decision, but just as in reference to a small system, we have a 7-home development that is looping their main. Every development
Yeah, I
except
know-
for
I
this
know
one
that
is
for a fact.
This is the only development that
I
is
know
resisting
for-
us.
I've done
But
it.
again, the
When was that
plans, the
permit applied
plans
for?
show, just recently, actually. So, and they're approved.
Then they're under the new regulations.
No, they came in right
No,
around the same
no.
time as you, around the same month. But my point is, they made a comment about, we
One
will
at
be
a
here
time, let him
today.
finish.
I'm almost done.
My
So they
comprehensive
made a
permit is a
comment,
lot
hold
older
on,
than
I
a few months ago.
I paused while you spoke. So earlier, they made a comment about, we would be here today talking about this. We wouldn't be here today at all if they just complied with our requirements last fall. They would be building, those homes would probably all be constructed already. So we are more than willing to move forward as long as they comply with our requirements, which we have a long-standing history of requiring loop main, as every other water system around the country does. It's not an anomaly.
All right,
If I
let's
may
continue.
respond.
They
Let
don't wanna
me,
comply.
If I may
listen,
respond, I have a comprehensive permit that stopped. I tried to go meet halfway, and halfway isn't good enough, and I want an appealable decision, please.
all
Mr.
right,
Chairman?
I'm gonna continue until 27, and if our attorney says so, so be it. We'll give you an order. But we cannot just give an order like this without consulting. We don't know what the order's gonna bring us.
Mr. Chairman, so I have shared that, my letter with Attorney Bowen. He has it, as well as Attorney Costa. I'm happy if the board takes that action and consults with Attorney Bowen, and we can come back on the 27th. Yeah.
We'll see you back on the 27th. Do I have a motion for that, please?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion to move Settlers Glen until the 27th. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Troy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, oppose, abstain. We'll see you on the 27th. We'll definitely have an answer.
Real quick, Mr. Chairman, in intervening weeks, I assume the board will be able to look at the plans that have been filed and
I'd like
maybe
to, yeah,
check
but
with
they should
Mr.
be
Ellie.
here,
We-
there should
We'll
be hard copy here.
we'll do what's necessary.
Could you
I'll do
please-
what's, I'll follow up.
We'll
Sorry.
provide whatever hard copies you
Okay.
folks need. If we need to drop off
All
a
right.
dozen sets, we'll do it.
Okay, very well. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, continue public hearing, Boston Providence Turnpike Associate, for Tow Road.
Nazi, she wanted to speak.
Nothing, I was just mentioning that, yeah, if we could have, either a list of everything that's relevant, that would be great, but he said he would provide it.
This is Boston
Gentlemen,
Providence
okay, this
Turnpike.
public hearing's still open. Let's see where we're at.
Good evening, folks. I'm Robert Perry. I'm representing the applicant. John Shelby is the principal of the applicant. We're also accompanied by the engineer, Luke DiStefano, who is the brains of tonight's outfit. We had our initial hearing about 6 weeks ago now, and we had some issues with the fire department. We got Charlie on board. We had some issues with him. I believe we have resolved everything with the fire department and with Charlie. I don't want to speak for either, but you should have a letter there from the fire department that they're satisfied. Charlie sent a letter, I think, late this afternoon. Anybody has any questions? Luke is here to answer them. Obviously, Charlie's here to give you his position, but I think we're in pretty good shape here.
All right, I did review his letter on June 16, and he's July 13. So, Mr. Rowley, if you could
Update?
please fill us in.
Sure.
Easier than
Just a
trying to read.
moment to get my letter up here.
Okay, while he's looking for this sewer, it's very important you talk to the superintendent. I came to find out, like a week after you guys left, we have they put moratorium on the sewer in Wareham.
I spoke with Guy Campina,
Yeah.
and he went to his board last week and got allocation for us. He told me that.
He got what?
He told me he was going to his board last week to get allocation. I guess the sewer
Okay.
department pulled existing projects that were already out there but not being built.
Right.
And pulled capacity to get it to us.
So you're.
I just don't want you to
I'm
have.
pretty sure we're in.
Yeah,
Iowa.
I'm working with a guy on that, and that's what he told me.
Okay, because I have the list here.
I'm all set, Mr. Chairman, whenever you are.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay, my responses go back to June 16th. Those are the initial comments that I had made to the board.
Yeah.
I received a reply back from Bowler Engineering with regard to those comments. I also had two telephone conversations with Mr. DeStefano about this. The main issue that we ended up discussing had to do with stormwater, and my concern with the way that the total suspended solids was being handled throughout the system. We went through a couple of gyrations with that. I reviewed the plan again. I requested a review of the stormwater calculation to better clarify exactly how it was going to work. And the end result being that the system that they have proposed, which is a subsurface system, which I wrote originally about, said that I was opposed to, I'm willing to accept reluctantly. I don't, if I were to design the system, I probably would not use it for one simple reason, that out of sight, out of mind. A good portion of the TSS removal is taking place subsurface of the ground in the first row of Cultec chambers, plastic chambers that are underground surrounded by stone and filter fabric. And the only way you can remove that is to jet it by sending a water jet down inside that system, make a slurry out of it, and then suck it out into a tank truck to get rid of it. There are other mechanisms that can be used which are a lot less intensive than that. And if it were my preference, I would use those. But in their operation and maintenance plan, which is a part of the stormwater report that was submitted, it's a very detailed requirement as to how that system will be maintained, including the jetting, inspecting it on a regular basis. When the sediment gets inside to a 3-inch depth, they're supposed to remove it. That having been said, one of my recommendations in my letter to you was that you incorporate that complete operation and maintenance program within your special permit as a condition of approval. I had 3 other recommendations,
But
which...
before you go forward,
Yeah.
Charlie, if I may, you're talking about outside drainage or the drainage inside the car wash?
Outside drainage.
Inside.
Okay.
I'm not involved in any of what
Inside.
happens inside with one exception, which we can go through in just
Yeah,
a
the
second.
tire thing, I read that, but
Right.
the outside, why you don't use the concrete chamber and you put a catch basin, then you put the one we use at Supreme with the water oil separated that goes to another solid manhole, then distribute for underground concrete chambers,
I
that
think
those
Mr.
plastic,
Stefano can answer that.
right, with the cover, is the water table, there's no water table there.
No.
No, and for the record, Luke DeStefano with Bowler Engineering. This is just another way of treating total suspended solids and providing the removal rates that we're required to under the stormwater management guidelines. It's not a hydrodynamic separator like a vortex unit, but the storm drainage is being collected into deep sump catch basins first. It's then being directed to basically a inlet control structure, which also has
Right.
a 2-foot sump, which is completely additional to the 4-foot sumps within the deep sump catch basins.
Right.
It's then being directed into a proprietary isolator row where you're getting 81.2% pretreatment of total suspended solids, which in and of itself is above the 80% requirement under the Mass Stormwater Management Handbook. So it works the exact same way. It's no different, it's just not using a hydrodynamic separator. It's using an isolator row prior to infiltration into the ground. The isolator row does have some infiltration. That was one of the sticking points Charlie had. So as part of our calculations, we went and we reran the numbers as if that row isn't isolating, because his concern is it might get filled with sediment and not infiltrate the way it's supposed to. But that's not ultimately how it happens. It's no different than a sediment forebay into an at-grade basin. It works the exact same way.
So Charlie, you worry about the sediment go in the leaching field?
Initially, I was, but taking another look at it, what happens is that infiltrator row, which is the first row of units, receives the water,
Right.
receives the additional sediment that's not picked up in the initial catch basin that has the 4-foot sump. Anything that's left over is going into this row, which is subsurface. The water has to build up in that almost 3 feet before it then discharges out of that structure into the remaining infiltration units that are clean.
Right.
So in that sense, it is the same as this open sediment basin that you can see from the surface. It functions basically the same way. My concern initially was, how do you efficiently get at it to remove that sediment so that it doesn't get to the point where the entire chamber is completely silted up to where the filter fabric doesn't work, function properly and so forth.
Doesn't have a cover?
That's why we have
Yeah,
a maintenance plan.
It does. It does, but it means that their operation plan says the way that these are cleaned out is by inserting a water jet down inside the unit, creating a slurry of that sediment that's sitting on the bottom, and then when it becomes a slurry that you can suck up with a vacuum, basically, it comes out through a pipe and goes into a tank truck.
And their maintenance plan calls for that to happen.
And the maintenance plan calls for that, and that's why I recommended that it go into your special permit as a condition.
We have no problem with that.
Because
What
it's
it-
it's very specific about when they do it, how they do it, and when it becomes necessary to do it by observation.
Let me ask you a question. If the slushy stuff gets to the 3 feet, eventually it'll overflow the catch basin, right? It's
I-
not
I
gonna go
doubt-
in the leaching field.
I doubt, it would take a humongous amount
Time, yeah.
of sediment to get to that point where it would overflow. Initially, I thought it did, but then I went back and I studied it a little bit more. We had a discussion about the structure that has a weir in it that causes that water to have to get up to another elevation, then spill out to go over into the clean units. So I don't have a concern about that anymore. My only concern was, if I was doing it, I wouldn't put it underground where it would be forever forgotten. And that's why I said in my recommendation, make sure the operation and maintenance plan gets incorporated so that if anything does happen, you've got something to fall back on and say, here, you're supposed to be doing this.
Be doing maintenance.
Okay, very well. You guys good with that?
Yeah, we have no problem with that.
Okay.
And that's why we have the plan.
Soil
The other-
test.
The other things, the soil tests apparently had now been scheduled for July 22nd.
Okay.
So I've suggested that once the results are in, the data should be provided with confirmation that there is no need for revisions of the plans based on soil conditions that they're assuming is there. Existing conditions elevations on Toll Road, we've gone around this a couple of times. On the initial existing conditions plan, it does not show the existing grades of Toll Road with spot grades the way you would customarily see, and it's an
we'll
item
get
that I
that
brought
close,
up in my June 16th review. They incorporated additional spot grades at that location, but they're spot grades for the new pavement, and I cannot tell from that whether or not there's still a gutter line which will keep the Toll Road drainage out of the site. So I'm asking that when they go out there on the 22nd to do the soil tests,
Do the elevation.
they need an elevation for the ground for those tests anyway. Get the spot grades and put it on the plan so we'll know for a fact that we've got a good gutter line that separates the two. And the fourth one was that the sewer department approves the tire wash effluent being transmitted into the sanitary sewer based on the technical information and specification that was provided. They say in the technical spec, don't dump it in a sanitary sewer. But it's a water-based material, so I'm not sure exactly what the issues would be, but I don't have enough expertise to determine that, and perhaps Guy Campina's office
Camp.
does.
All right, again, so we don't fall in the same problem with the previous applicant.
I agree.
So you guys gotta work your problems with water, sewer, fire, everybody. Okay, so don't come back, say, oh, you said this. We're not technical. They do their job, we do our job. So let's work what Charlie requested, do some elevations, do the test, and we come back, see you on the 27th, and hopefully you have all your feedback, sewer, water, and everything, and we could wrap it up.
May I ask, you have the fire department letter now approving everything?
I don't see it.
Well, then I'll have to get that to you. I have it.
All right, before I go forward, I'm just gonna pass to my board and
Fair
to make
enough,
sure
fair
that,
enough.
Troy, what do you think?
I agree.
Yeah, I've got it here, too.
Veronica,
I don't have a comment to make.
Jimmy,
We're good.
Jake?
No comment.
All right, anyone in the public wanna speak for, against, or for the project? I hear none, so,
Should we ask for condition?
You want to close the public
No.
portion of this? so that we
no,
can-
not yet, we're not closing, until they provide everything.
Okay.
Mr.
good?
Mr. Chairman, quick question. I thought we could do that via conditions for the four things, or is that not possible?
I'm not doing that, no.
Okay.
Personally, I'm not. You wanna pull a vote, we can, if you wish. But if it dies, you're dead.
No, I thought we could do it via conditions, but if the board's not comfortable.
No,
whatever the
we've
board
done
wants.
this, and it gets, people forget to bring what we ask them for, and it's not a good practice. We need everything done, then we'd be more than happy to give you a vote. So, that being said, we continue till the 27th.
So moved.
Oh,
Do I
wait a
have a
minute,
second
wait a
for
minute,
that?
wait a minute.
Hold on,
I'm not.
The date,
I'm
he
not
might be
available the
questioning the date.
27th
hold
either.
hold on. What?
I'm away. I'm out of state on the 27th.
I
However,
am too.
I don't think. we
Okay,
can get the
August 10.
information In advance, I don't think.
August 10,
Uh,
the next day?
quick-
August 10th I can do. I'll be back August 10th.
Well, just a question, I have a deadline deadline for the agreement, July 31. So if I came back, if I came back just myself, would you need any more expert opinion from,
No, you're fine. If you come by yourself, you satisfy Mr. Rowley.
I
you
can
good
get
to-
on Zoom the 27th.
You could go and you get all your good.
okay. Oh, the 27th then, please.
That's July what?
And if not, Mr. Higgins very understanding. He'll give you an extension.
Okay.
But we should be okay. You have everything in order. We have no problem.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, very well.
July what?
Well, right now, we go to 27.
All right, I can get on Zoom. I'll just be down in Pennsylvania.
Okay. All right, we have a motion by Jim till 27. Do I have a second?
Pennsylvania, what are you gonna do, go down there and ride one
Second
of
by
them
Jake.
buggies?
All in favor, say aye.
A horse and buggy?
No, I'm going down to my motorhome and pass all the horse and buggies.
Aye, oppose, abstain. So we'll see you on the 27.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Okay.
All right, next item on the agenda is Tyrone and Jenna Cardoza, 18-22.
Where are the files for these continued hearings?
They're right there.
Okay.
Do you need to see them again?
Sure, absolutely. It's continued. I don't even remember.
All right, public hearing still open. Your name for the record, and let's see where we are.
Good evening, Brad Bertolo, JC Engineering.
Jenna Cardoza.
Good evening. Tyrone Cardoza.
Okay, so where did we leave it last time? And what did you come back with?
Okay, since the last time, I went back to the building commissioner because they had wrote in the last denial letter that we had to come before you for a special permit for what we were proposing. I went the day after our meeting, so on the 23rd, I went and met with the building commissioner and gave him the same packet that I gave to all of you. I explained what happened at the meeting. I explained the board's concerns and your concerns as far as needing variances. And he said he needed a little time to go over it. He was going to try to speak to you to see what you're looking for, and then he would issue a updated denial letter. So I did follow up with him the following week, and on June 28th, he gave me an updated denial letter. That denial letter still stated we were going in front of you for a special permit.
Okay.
I went to the planning department from there. and spoke to Sonia. She made a copy of the new denial letter, and she showed it to Ken, and Monique was there as well, and they said that I didn't have to do anything further and just to be here on the state. I actually found out last night, last evening, that there has since been another updated denial letter that he wrote on 7/7 that I did not know about until last evening. I did receive a copy of it in the mail today, and the postage was dated the 11th, 7/11. So I just received it.
And the only difference between the most recent and the one prior is one says special permit and one says variance.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So we are.
All right, now where we are you still looking for the 6 units?
We are hoping for the 6 units, but what we have come to, what we're coming in front of you for is that we're going to try, instead of, so the first floor would be, which is the 2 commercial units now existing, it would still be 2 one-bedroom apartments. That's what we're trying for. We'll leave the second floor existing as the apartments that are there. And the third floor, instead of trying for the 2 two-bedrooms, we decided to try for 2 one-bedrooms because that would bring the parking spaces to 10. And what I've also done is some research to the last Board of Appeals special permit that was granted to us back in 2006 that stated that we had to provide a minimum of the 10 spaces for what we were asking for the building to be built, which we did. So we do have the 10 spaces that would require. And I have Brad here from
I did talk
JC.
to you about, you need a variance to have 6 units there.
Okay.
I am more than happy, personally, I speak for myself, through a special permit, not a variance, to change the 2 commercial to residential.
Okay.
Personally, I will not grant a special permit or a variance for the 3rd floor.
Okay.
I'll pass it to the board, see what they feel like. And 10 parking spaces, you will, not that, if you go with the 4 units, you don't need site plan. But if you go 10 spaces, if the board agrees, you need a site plan.
Even though we have existing 10 spaces, because that's what was called for in order to build it back in 2006.
So we have actually granted a minimum of 10 spaces. Now, we didn't know that the last meeting. So doing a little bit of research, we found out that we have the paperwork showing that we have granted a minimum of 10 spots. So we're asking the board to look at our conditions and seeing that we were allowed to place this building on this lot at the time.
What the
We
problem
have-
is right now, not the parking. It's not the parking.
understand.
Let's hear what Mr. Larson feel. How do you feel about 6 units in that building?
I
Well-
don't have a comment right yet.
Veronica,
I think it's excessive for the size of the lot.
Jim?
I'd be more inclined, my question is, you said special permit. The public notice, what does it say? Special, it does say special permit, okay, so it's been advertised as special. I just was worried about
Right.
re-advertising. I can tell you right now, I'd be leaning towards granting the change of use on the first floor and eliminating the request or for the 3rd floor at this time, and make my vote without prejudice. So that if they want to come back for the 3rd floor under a separate application, that would be fine. But right now, tonight, I wouldn't be comfortable voting on more than...
Well, they could always come for 100 units.
They could come for whatever they want.
We're gonna
Tonight,
vote-
all I'm
Right.
interested in is...
We'll
they've-
vote what
they've-
we want to vote, but we're not doing other things. They
Right.
could come after whatever they want. I mean, anybody can. I agree
I
with
just don't
Jim.
want- I just don't want the, tonight's vote to be,
Yeah.
permit them...
Just no
prevent them
comments.
from coming back for 2 years.
Comments.
May I
Anyone on the
ask-
public want to speak in this matter?
Public, you
For
got
or
anything on
against?
Zoom? I guess their engineer wants to talk.
Yeah, 1 minute. Anyone in the public want to speak for or against? I hear none. Mr. Botello, what do you want to say?
Thank you. The applicants had reached out to us to prepare the plan, and at the time, they were issued a letter for a special permit, so we went forward with that.
We looked at the original permit, had 10 spaces. We looked at the structure that was there. We needed 11. So that's the reason why we have the site plan the way it is, special permit. Moving forward, after the second revised letter that was brought to my attention last night, we looked at, again, other options that we could do to compare what the applicants would like to do versus what they currently have an approval for. 2 commercial units, 2 residential units, 10 parking spaces. So is there an alternative use or unit count that would not exceed that count, or even decrease that count, parking-wise?
I mean, if you have 4 units, that's 8 parking spaces. You good?
Oh, yeah, so it's
So you don't
definitely
need-
less.
Yeah.
But again, they obviously want to utilize the 3rd floor, where 1 or 2 apartments would require either a certain amount of parking spaces, where we could provide less parking spaces. Again, I understand.
Going 75 mile on the highway, you asking to go 175 with 6 units. As it is, you way over. And they're lucky they have the 2 things listed as commercial. Otherwise, the size of the lot, like Veronica said, there's no way.
Oh, I understand.
We have to be consistent in town. There's no way. Personally, you're not getting my vote for it. The board give it to you, that's fine.
Yep. We would just, we looked at what they have, what the parking requirement was, and what we could come up with as an alternative that doesn't exceed that. Again, after my...
Maybe in a few years, different board, you come back, you get it.
Yep.
Who knows?
So we spoke about this earlier today. We obviously would like an option if you want to move forward with the change of use with the current number of units as opposed to the increase. And then we can look at the other options down the road.
Right.
I think that's a prudent way to...
Right. Yeah, I would like that.
But I believe it'd be under a special permit, not a variance.
Special, yeah, so, not a variance.
May I address?
Yes.
One time? Now, in regards to our parking spaces that we have a minimum of, also in regards that we have commercial space grandfathered right now downstairs, and a minimum of 3 parking spaces per each unit. Now, for the commercial unit. Now, we could place 2 restaurants down there. There's no stipulation on the commercial. So we would just want the board to look at the whole picture and see what we're trying to propose to you
can put
is
a
that.
restaurant, but you won't be able to park more than 3 cars each.
Understood. Now, what we're proposing is now to eliminate any of that high traffic and meet us in some sort of
What
happy
high
medium
traffic?
here.
What high traffic?
Commercial.
With the
in and
commercial
out.
Yeah, but-
units. Now,
I
there wouldn't
understand,
be
but you would
no,
not be granted a permit for any commercial that will allow you to park more than 2 cars for each.
okay, but regardless, I can still have commercial units down there. So there will be,
You have them right
Vehicles
now.
in
You
and
have them
out.
right now. You've had them, how long has the building been built?
well, the building we permitted in 2006. We got a use permit in 2009. This is a project that has been financed
13
through my
years the
wife and
building's
I.
been sitting there with those 2 units
Yes, sir.
empty, and you're threatening me with commercial use.
No, I'll make no threats.
well,
I'm sorry if
Just
I was
in
just
Maybe
regards to
threat is a
traffic.
harsh word, but you're using commercial units as your leverage to convince us, and it's a very unconvincing argument. Let me give you my quick peanut butter story, all right? And maybe it'll help you understand what the board's trying to do for you, okay? If I give you a peanut butter sandwich on white bread with no jelly, and you jam the whole thing in your mouth at once and try to swallow it, I promise you, you're going to choke. If you take one bite at a time, it'll go down very nicely. We've offered you a change of use on the 2 units on the first floor without prejudice to go out of here tonight and be able to rent 2 more units in a building that right now you can only rent 2 and you're going from 2 to 4 and everybody's happy. If you come back to us in the future and want to argue the 3rd floor, great. But if you want to argue the 3rd floor tonight, you've got the whole peanut butter sandwich in your mouth.
Understood.
Your decision going forward.
Right.
I've said my piece.
So not to mention, we're not making we're not creating two units. We're giving you a special permit, the two commercial to two residential. Okay, this is not a variance, that's a special permit. Do you wanna, anything else before we close? All right, can we get a motion to
I
close?
make a motion to close the public portion of this hearing.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Veronica, all in favor, say aye.
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 Oppose, abstain, it's closed. What's the wishes?
I make a motion to grant relief in the form of a change of use for the two units on the first floor from commercial to residential.
Under the
With
special
standard
permit.
conditions. Pardon me?
Under a special permit.
As a special permit with standard conditions.
Okay, so total of 4 units. Do I have a second on that?
I'll second that.
Second by Jake, all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye,
Aye.
oppose, abstain. So, did you say aye? Okay, 500, you got 4 units and special permit.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you,
Thanks, good luck.
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Put jelly on that sandwich before you come back.
Okay, Monique, you taking notes on that? Yes. All right, very well. Let's go with the public hearing. John Peroni and Kimberly Sullivan, 19-22, 14 Fonseca Way.
Let's have all those back, the folders, the files, and...
Yeah, we need that decision paper to
One.
sign it.
Got two here, and Jake's.
What do you want?
We have that thing to sign, or we have to go to the office now? Monique, do we have that, the signature? Please.
It might be in here.
No, let's do it now as we go. Did you put the findings?
You got it?
Yeah.
Oh, she had it? Oh, yeah, see that new broom, man, that's okay. That's all right, a lot of times it's in this folder with little tags on where we sign, but, we'll all adjust a little bit, don't worry, Monique, you're doing a great job.
Will you put it back in the folder?
I will. Just stick with us, because we want to get this paperwork in this folder and not in your folder. And we don't want yours and hers either.
Okay.
Why don't you get Jake over
No,
there?
go, he'll give it, and
Oh,
no,
we'll
stay
give him
right there,
last.
we'll give it to you and give it to her.
Okay.
All right, okay. Oh, you're still there.
We got to, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna give you the folder like this. You guys will sign it, and then I'll give it to Jake. That way this paperwork doesn't get mixed up. And this goes upside down, and we're looking at 1622, no, we're looking at 1922. 1922, the year my father was born.
There you go.
Lines for you to sign on separate ones?
What's the matter?
I said, are there not enough lines for you to sign on separate ones?
Is he on the top line? I think he is.
You
But maybe not.
You guys signed on the same line.
Well, you know, we're joined at the hip too, you know. Just don't let anybody know. Variance application here. There you go. Don't mix these up with that folder, please. There you go. One for Jakey. And thank you. Jake, and thank you. The signature page is in here?
It is.
Okay. You, sign it like this one. You recognize it, it's white. All the rest of the pages.
Nicole, can I have the signature page for this, for the new, please? All right, let's hear it, Jimmy.
Zoning Board of Appeals to hold a public hearing on July 13th, 2022 at 6:30 PM in room 320 of the Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. 02571, to consider petition number 19-22 for a variance from the requirements of section 625 footnote 2 under the Wareham zoning bylaws to John J. Perone and Kimberly A. Sullivan of 14 Fonseca Way, West Wareham, Mass., proposing to construct a detached garage in the area between the dwelling and the street at the subject property located at 14 Fonseca Way, West Wareham, Mass. 02576. This appears on Assessors Map 94, Lot F3, in the R60 zoning district.
All right, name and address for the record.
Good evening, Brad Bertolo, JC Engineering, here on behalf of the applicants.
John Peroni, property owner.
Kimberly Sullivan.
All right, let's hear it.
All right, thank you. Again, this property is located at 14 Fonseca Way, a small cul-de-sac in West Wareham. The property owner built this house in approximately 2005. The lot's about 2.5 acres, relatively deep, about 500 feet deep. Similar to the abutting lot, they have a long driveway that set the house in the back, provides some privacy from the street, and, you know, get some bog views that are cranberry bog views from the back. The applicants would like to construct a detached garage in the front of the structure so they could come off the existing driveway, off the side, enter a proposed garage, but doing so would be forward of the front of the house. The current bylaw has a statement regarding accessory structures that the front setbacks shall be equal to or greater than the existing principal building's front setback, indeterminate of where it sits on the lot. The site is located in the R60 zoning district, requires 60 feet of front setback and 20 feet of side setback. I believe at the time this house was constructed, it was 20-10-10. But today, the current bylaws, it's 60-20-20. So in doing so, this would require variance from this section of the bylaw. We feel it wouldn't be a detriment to the public good. The structure itself is situated greater than the minimum 60 feet front setback, where any principal structure could have been constructed now or in the future if there were any changes to the current structure. So we felt that this would be applicable, or variance would be applicable in this situation. Again, placing the structure in the back would require possibly setting construction work limits or the structure within 100 feet of the wetlands in the back. It's going to require conservation approval, a lot longer driveway than currently there, or what would need to be constructed. So we feel that this would be meeting the requirements of a hardship and would not be a detriment to the neighborhood.
Why you don't think you can add it to the house?
As an attached garage.
They have a garage at the house, so it just doesn't fit with their floor plan on the property. Or that's true.
So this is, what are you, a car nut or something? You gotta have a
Yeah,
whole...
I got a couple of classic cars.
Yeah, you're a car nut?
A little bit.
Okay, that's what's going in the
How
garage?
high is the garage? How high your ridge?
Sorry?
The ridge of the garage,
It's 3648.
the height.
Oh, the height.
Highest point.
10-foot, highest point's probably gonna be 16 feet.
16 feet?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're looking at about a 10-foot height garage and 6 to the ridge?
Something like that, yeah, maybe 9 foot and then 7 to, it depends on the pitch we put on the roof.
It is in the code, if it's that lot there, and they're putting, the house is kind of here, and they're putting it over in here, they're really not putting it in anybody's view.
Right. All right, let's start by Troy. What do you think?
I don't have any comments right yet.
Veronica?
I'd like to hear if neighbors have any comments.
Okay. Jake?
Nothing at this time.
Jim?
Nope. No, I'm okay with this application. I think the planning department looked it over pretty good. They appear to be okay with it as well.
Anyone on the public want to speak in favor or against? I hear none. You want to add anything?
Nope, basically covered everything.
All right.
Nothing from the, nothing from the public?
No.
Nothing from the board? I make a motion to close the public portion of this hearing.
Do I have a second?
Oh, did we ask for public comment? I didn't
I
hear
did.
We
that,
did.
sorry. Oh, okay.
Do I have a second on motion to close?
Second.
Second by Jake. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose, abstain. What's the wishes on the variance?
I make a motion to grant request as, the grant relief as requested with the planning department comments as part of the standard conditions.
Okay, I would like to add that meets standard condition of statutory requirement for MGL 40A, Section 10, and has to be constructed as planned by JC Engineering and not to exceed of the ridge of 16 feet.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I believe access, well,
I think
that's fine.
22
I think 20 is the
22
max anyways.
22 feet is the,
20. Be
20
careful, if you build it over 20, they'll make you take
definitely
it
is not
down.
gonna be- I don't want it too high. I want it to look good on the lot, so won't be too tall.
Okay, do I
sports
have
car,
a
huh?
second on that?
I'll second that.
Second by Jake. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Oppose, abstain. It carries. Thank
Aren't you
you.
glad you didn't want to tie into the water main?
I'm keeping things very simple.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Rhonda Finnerman, 20-22, 18 Ocean Avenue.
Oh, of course.
Here you go.
Oh, I see what the problem is, Jim. Ozzy just takes up 3 lines.
Yeah, that's... Joined
He's
at
got a
the hip.
big signature.
Hey, Bill.
And, this is,
That's old. Oh, I put the wrong one away here.
And give it to Monique.
Nope. In the folder, please.
Thank
Thank you.
1922. 1922. Anything else from 1922 that I want to get off of here before we go to 2022? Oh, what a coincidence, 19, then 20.
All right.
I'll read this in a second. Here we go. Here you go.
Jake.
Mr. Madden, how are you?
Doing pretty good. How about you guys?
Good, thank you. Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on July 13th, 2022 at 6:30 PM in Room 320 of the Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. 02571, to consider petition number 20-22 for a variance from the requirements of Section 628 under the Wareham zoning bylaws to Rhonda Finnerman of 894 Huntington Drive, Fishkill, New York, proposing to an addition at the subject property located at 18 Ocean Avenue, Onset, Mass. That appears on Assessors Map 1, Lot 124B, in the Onset Village 1 zoning district.
Very well. Let's hear the name, address, and let's hear it.
I'm Bill Madden from GAF Engineering.
Yep.
I am Justin Wilson, the son of Rhonda Finnerman from Montreal, Quebec.
All right. All the way from Montreal, huh?
Yep.
That's good. All right, let's hear it, Bill.
Son of Rhonda.
Good evening.
I'm Anthony Frangianis. Would like to open the hearing on this, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Good. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Can you hear me?
Yes, just your name for the record.
Great. I apologize for not being able to be present. For the record, my name is Anthony Frangiatis, and I'm the architect representing Rhonda Finnerman for her renovation and addition to an existing single-family dwelling at 18 Ocean Avenue. This project requires a variance from our zoning bylaws on two issues. One, a side yard setback, as well as a variance for the floor area ratio of the proposed project. Bill can answer any questions regarding the site plan that you may have. I just wanted to walk you through the architectural drawings that we have prepared. The existing property is old. It's probably one of the oldest structures in the village. It's wood frame. It's a wood frame cottage that at the front end is approximately 8 feet wide. And then it widens to about 11 feet wide. What we're proposing to do is add on to the back of the building. The existing height will stay the same. It's an existing 2-story or 1 3/4 story dwelling, and we're adding an addition to the rear. The side yard setback is being sought so that we can provide a code compliant staircase to the second story. There's an existing staircase within the existing structure that is not code compliant. It's about 21 inches wide and very steep. So both Rhonda and her family would like to use the house or modernize the house while maintaining the character of the structure.
All right.
Okay, Bill Madden from GAF here on behalf of Rhonda Finner. And I guess I will start off by Dave Moore, building commissioner, acting building commissioner at the time, issued a letter back in May 12th identifying the FAR as being exceeded and a variance required for the property line setback on the, let's call it the northeasterly side of the building. And it's really an intensification of a side yard setback. If you look at the site plan on the southerly side of the property, the building is set back 6.4 feet from the neighboring property line. So on the north side, we're looking for a variance of about 1.5 feet, 1.65, 1.6 thereabouts, to hold that the 8.1 feet off of that. There's a couple of unique and unusual circumstances associated with this lot. It's extraordinarily narrow. It's very long by comparison to the width of the lot. There's an easement also for parking that's been granted some time ago on the south side of the lot. It's a 300 square foot easement that further restricts any additional work or expansion that can occur on the southerly side of the house and what have you. And, you know, these conditions affect the structure that could be built on the lot. It has to be extraordinarily narrow. There's not a lot of room to do what's needed, and we tried to fit it in, Anthony tried to fit it in there as closely as she can to meeting the zoning bylaw. The hardship arises out of the shape of the lot and the structure collectively together being so narrow. I mean, there's a portion of the house that's only really 10 feet wide, perhaps a little less. And by today's and even past standards, you know, those are extraordinarily narrow, and it becomes quite difficult to create a living space that's usable in today's day and age. So that is really the reason why we had to extend out the building the way it is to make it really usable, and require the side yard setback. One thing I'd like to point out that's not abundantly clear on our site plan, where you see that little bump out on the, let's call it the west side of the building, it shows 1.3, 1.2. That's actually a bulkhead. There should be a line drawn parallel to the length of that building to isolate that appendage off of the building. The bulkheads do not count toward your side yard setback. So I just wanted to point that out. It might be a little bit deceiving, although the architectural plans that were provided as part of the application clearly show that as a bulkhead. But I just want to point that out to the board. As far as the floor to area ratio, it is exceeded a little bit. We have 844 square feet on the first floor. The second floor, since we overhang the unenclosed porch on the first floor, we have 943 square foot on the second floor, about 1,800 and change for the total area. If you divide that by the lot area, our floor to area ratio is about 39, as opposed to being 30 as required by zoning. But I think the building fits the neighborhood. It's definitely unique. It's one of the few lots that you're going to find in Onset or in the neighborhood that has that shape and that characteristic, and actually a house that is pretty unique in that respect. And I think we're going to make it much more user-friendly in its renovated state. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions. Oh, just it is in a residential zone. It is a residential use, and the granting of the variance won't result in a derogation or detriment to the zoning bylaw due to the residential nature.
All right, very well. Okay, it is an existing non-conforming. On the setbacks, I think you could extend the non-conformity. The FAR we have to discuss. I'll start by Troy. Troy, what do you think?
I like the look of the plan. I think it looks good.
You good? Veronica?
Good.
So I have several questions.
Yeah.
What is the existing lot coverage and what's the allowed lot coverage?
The existing lot coverage it's noted on the plan.
10.53.
There you go. And the proposed lot coverage, building coverage 22.56.
It's 30% over there, so they're under that.
So your lot coverage is going to be under that, okay.
8% under what the bylaw requires.
Okay, and what's the current FAR?
15.91, they go
Is that
into
on here
43.
now?
Yeah.
15.91, yeah, it's on that little box. It says zoning table right in the middle of the sheet in the top.
Oh, yep, I see it, thank you.
A little tough to read on the small print.
On the plan, you're saying that that's a bulkhead, but if I look at the plan, it shows steps going into the basement. Bulkhead, in my mind, is just something that's gonna open up and you're gonna go down. This is showing like a built.
Yeah, but it is a bulkhead, doesn't provide access into the first floor or the living space in there. It is access solely to the basement. And bulkheads have recently taken on a little bit of a different flavor and shape and what have. In fact, there's a guy on Cranberry Highway now that does very custom bulkheads to get into the houses. But that's what it's intended to be.
So I guess, Veronica, you're saying, it's not a doghouse, but
Is
just
this
a
Not a
regular
doghouse,
bulkhead?
because how do
the
they
area
have
we're talking
steps
about right
going in if it's not a doghouse?
Going downstairs from the,
So if
like,
you,
about 6 inches off the ground, and they go down.
this?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. You step up like basically above a curb and then you walk down the stairs into the basement.
So the stairs are underground?
The
mean-
stairs
Down, they're
that
not
go down
going
into the
the house,
basement.
they're going
Right, right.
Yes,
which
they
would
go
be-
down.
Which would be, okay, I have to see that, because I'm not able to picture that, because the 1.3 is too close for my comfort, in terms of,
The
Setback.
bulkhead is only about 6 inches off the ground. You open the metal and you go down.
oh, just
Ever
standard
seen
bulkhead.
bulkhead?
No, I have.
Yeah. That's
It's just
what it
facing, it's
is.
facing a different way.
It's not like you
Usually it
open
would
the
be coming
door
out-
and has a doghouse. That's what they
Usually
say.
it'd be coming out this way.
Right.
They have it turned
Sideways. Gotcha, okay.
From what I can
So-
see.
Yep. And then I'm not where is the easement on this?
The easement is on called the south side. It's a dotted line that's dashed around there, and it says driveway easement. There's a deed reference right there, so that restricts us from doing any work over there. That's a driveway easement for the neighboring property at 16 Ocean.
This is what she wants to see right here, right?
Yeah.
See it? Right there, that's the easement. Right there.
Thanks. Yeah, right here.
Was that the easement for the other house?
Where's the street?
Yeah. It's not yet narrow enough, you have to give an easement?
Exactly. Let's encumber it a little more.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, what do you think, Jimmy? What do you,
I
Veronica?
think I'm glad I brought my crayons. My only, my comments,
Go back to you, Veronica.
oh, do you want, if you weren't finished,
Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to know what the neighbors had for FAR and similarities in structure.
I think we didn't calculate the neighboring lots for FAR because we weren't really privy to the square footage of the structures. So outside of the lot and the footprint of the structure, we could make a wild guess at it, but the full occupied living area is not readily identifiable by us on that. But I think that number 16, it's virtually an identical type of house, so I would say it's going to be roughly that FAR of 16 as ours was originally, or would be originally, assuming we were able to obtain approval.
So this is going from 16 and you're requesting to go to 43? With
Yes.
the 30 is the cap, okay. Okay, that was it, thank you.
Jimmy?
First of all, I'm okay with it, okay? But I want to comment, I mean, it's onset, everything's tight over there. My comment is simply that last year in front of this board, right across the street from this house, the Salernos proposed to put up something, and the whole neighborhood showed up and yelled and screamed and didn't want it. And now somebody from the neighborhood wants to do something, and there's nobody here yelling and screaming.
Not yet, we haven't asked.
Well, I'm looking at the room. So I'm looking at the room, and I just want the record to reflect that sometimes personalities come into these things, but other than that, I'm fine with it.
Jake?
Nothing at this time.
All right, anyone on the public want to speak in favor or against? None. Online, somebody is on Zoom? All right, let's hear it. Who's out there?
Yes, I'm Mary Downey, attorney for Rhonda Finnerman. I just wanted to let you know I am here if you had any questions.
All right, thank you, counsel. Okay. How do you guys feel, one thing at a time, with the setback? It is existing non-conforming with the setbacks. I don't see a problem with the 8.2 feet myself. Everybody on board with that?
That would be a variance. They're not, they are conforming at 11.4 currently. They'd be going,
But the other side is 6.4.
yeah, the other side is.
Okay, so you want to act on it as a variance?
I think it has to be a variance, doesn't it?
Yeah, for the FAR, right, anyway, because they're in
FAR,
conformance.
definitely.
And the setback and...
I mean, if we grant if we're willing to give a variance, might as well call it a variance.
Give it a variance, let it go on record.
So you mean because the other side is the non-conforming?
Right, that side that they're proposing to bring into non-conformity currently does conform.
Yeah. All right. I mean,
see
it's
it.
a tight place there. I mean, it's,
I've seen bigger mobile homes.
I know, and we're supposed to change these bylaws there for the FAR, but it never happened. Mr. Requena had left and it died.
Well, personally, I don't like the FAR, just in the Salerno case, Jim. I know you feel like it's a personal thing, had nothing to do with
Let's
personal
not go there.
personalities.
Let's
But
not
again,
discuss that.
I'm gonna go back to the FAR. I don't like exceeding the FAR so much. I would actually like to see this just a little bit smaller of an addition. I'm not saying, you know, it extends pretty far beyond, but that's just my feeling on that.
All right, so that's her feeling. Jake, what do you think?
I'm okay with it.
He's okay with it.
And if I can, for the record as well, the FAR, as was discussed before, has to do with density, and there are comments about how dense Onset is, and that's why FAR is very important in a small village like Onset. That's it.
Right, but I think I'm not gonna argue this, but,
Yeah, it's an
family-
arguable
family
point.
grows, houses are, back in the day, a small house would do, now it doesn't. The kids come, the grandkids, what are you gonna do? And like I said, we're working on changing the FAR and change commissioner in between, and it just died. Hopefully, we could change it. That being said, you wanna add anything before we, yes, sir, you wanna speak?
Yes, I just want to know how far back that's going to go.
All right, you gotta come forward. Sit over there on that mic, give us your name. All right, give us your name for the record.
You have to first, your name and address, and then your question.
1011 Street, Arthur Moran.
Thank you, Arthur.
I just want to know how far back that's going to go.
Mr. Chairman, I can't hear it.
You gotta come closer,
I
Frank.
know how far back that's going to go.
Just
You gotta sit down, take a
Sit-
chair,
sit down,
take a
relax.
seat, relax.
No questions, there's no such thing as a quick question here. Now, if you can get back up, is gonna be the test.
Oh, I'm managed somehow.
All
Okay.
right, so you wanna see how much the setback from the back?
Yes,
Setback or the how far?
yes, how far back
length.
it's going
What
to
do you
go.
got, Bill?
Let me scale it off the plan.
They're taking a 30-foot mobile home and turning it into a 72.
Looks to me like 30 feet, at least 30, 35.
I just want to know if that's going to end up, if that's going to go past my property, not past it, not on it, but, you know, past it.
Are you the abutter? You next door?
Yes.
Okay, are you to the south or the north?
To be
If I'm
honest,
standing on the street, are you to the left or the right?
okay,
You're in the back.
yes. On 1011 Street.
You Onset Beach MHP LLC? Is that you?
That's the
No.
mobile home.
Ah, that's the mobile home park. Okay.
Well, I live in the big red house right after it.
Anthony probably has the dimension, but I think it's about,
Are you number 16? What'd you say your address is?
it's about
10,
80
11.
feet back.
80 feet?
Thereabouts, the lot line that is 100,
The further part, but the closest part, like you 40, right?
yes. I mean, that lot line, the southerly lot line's 148 feet long, and
What's the address there? What's this address there? 18 Ocean.
You're on Ocean Ave or you're on another street?
I'm on another street.
You're on another street. So Ocean Ave comes in from Onset Avenue and turns and comes back onto Onset Avenue. Where's the street that you're on?
1011 Street. It's
11th
right-
Street?
Yes, it's on a hill, and to get to it,
Oh,
you
so
ha-
it's behind like where Bessie's Fish Market used to be?
I don't know, I haven't lived here that long.
Oh, okay, well, yeah, and poor Leroy, he's long since been buried, so, I think it's a real estate company now.
Oh, Conway.
Yeah,
Okay, that's right in the corner.
yeah.
And then it's Stonebridge Bar and
So
Grill.
after the real estate company, and
I'm
then
down the street,
you're down on the one that goes along the edge of the water?
on 11th Street. It's, if you, it's a one-way, so you have to go past the trailer park, and the big red house is mine.
It abuts the tail corner of the property,
Okay,
his property.
it does abut his corner?
Yeah, the tail corner on the, I think it's the
trying to figure out what-
northeast corner,
So
next to
it would be
the
abutting
trailer
up in-
park.
Up in here?
Yes.
Right there, right there.
Okay.
Thank you, Justin.
All right, just to, I know Veronica had
He's looking it
issues
up on
with
the Google.
FAR. I'm looking at all the houses next to that house.
Oh, believe me, that's an old house.
They all huge. Look at this, that house, look at how big these houses
Yeah.
are. You see it? This is 18, and look how big these ones are.
Where's
That's 18.
Oh, I can't see it because of the tree.
No, this is
Sorry, I
the
can't see the
gentleman's
forest 'cause
mother's
of the
house.
trees.
This is
This is,
Finneman.
16 is next door, right?
18.
16 is next door, this is 18.
That's 18. You see it right here? That's the house, that's the applicant.
This is the applicant.
And just look how big the one next door, 16. Look how big is.
But the guy that's asking is up.
I know, the gentleman who's asking is right here, right here.
Right, and this is proposed to go that here.
No, it's like to here only.
Well, if you look comparison to this drawing, it's much, this.
The
neighborhood's gonna
existing dwelling,
extend past-
okay, to here.
it's
And
gonna extend.
that's the gentleman house right here
Oh.
that he's talking about. All right? But all the.
You can
next
still
door
take a
houses-
bath with your window shades up.
It's, I mean, it's not gonna be right in, pretty much in back. That's all I wanted to know.
Well, then that's all we're telling you. Get out of
Okay.
here.
You're like 60
Yeah,
feet.
because, you know, they're
at
into
least
gardening
40.
and all that, you know, and they're just worried it would block it
Ah,
off. but
thank you.
That's not even gonna come close.
Yeah.
That's all I want to know.
Yeah,
very
okay.
well.
Now let's see if you can get back up. Now, we made you sit down. Well, look at that.
It takes everything, but I,
We're not gonna, getting rid of you yet. Yeah, you're gonna be around.
All right,
I'm working on it.
70 and you're working on it?
good
What,
for
working
you.
on what, 71?
Oh, one day at a time.
There you go.
Have a good one.
Thank you, sir.
Any else you want to add? Bill?
No, I think we're all set. If there's
Anthony,
any-
you want to add anything?
No?
Counselor,
No,
anything?
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you, okay.
Make a
that
motion, we
be-
close the public portion of this hearing.
I have a motion to close, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Oppose, abstain. Okay, on the variance for the FAR and the setback, can I have a motion on that, how the board feel?
I move to grant relief as requested with the standard conditions and the conditions as outlined by the planning department in this briefing.
Don't they have to be done separately?
No?
No?
Unless,
They're
unless,
together?
you could break it if you want, with discussion.
If you want to vote yeah,
You
yea on
can.
one and nay on the
Want to
other.
do separate?
If it's separate, because if
No,
it's
you
together,
can, so you want separate.
I would prefer it
All
to be
right, so
separate.
let's start with the setback. On the setback, we have a motion by Jim for the setback for 8.2 feet, so encroaching 1.8 feet, right? Do I have a I'm sorry, that's Jim's motion. Do I have a second on the setback?
Second.
Second by Jake. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay.
Oppose, abstain. So that's 500 on the setback. On the FAR, what's the wishes? I guess Jimmy made a motion to grant the FAR as presented.
As well, yes.
Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Second by Troy. All in favor, say aye.
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 Deny.
Oppose, abstain. So
So-
410, it carries.
We also need an extending a nonconformity on the setback on the opposite side.
But the bulkhead, it doesn't comply, it doesn't,
Bulkhead does not.
Does not.
Does not
So-
count to setback in the zoning bylaw. Bulkheads do not count.
So the setback is only 5 feet on that side?
it's 6.4, the bulkhead,
Correct.
the
Right.
bulkhead
It's
is
existing
5.4.
at
What's the
6.4.
what's the requirement?
10 feet.
And it's 6.4, extending down, extending that non-conforming 6.4, which is what I'm saying needs a special permit. To extend an existing non-conformity, we need a special permit.
Okay, I mean, fair enough.
Yes.
Okay, I'll second that motion.
So we have a motion to extend the nonconformity on the south side to 6.4 feet. Do I have a second on that?
I second it.
Second by Jim. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, oppose, abstain. Carries. You good?
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for that fine point on the 6.4. That's very helpful. Thank you.
Good catch, Veronica.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now, anybody that's coming before us from here forward, we've said yes to everybody else. We have to deny a few.
Don't even joke about it.
Jim, come on.
Don't joke about it. Oh, boy.
He says don't even joke about it, so I guess I have to be serious.
Thank you.
Night.
All right, here we go. one you have, Jimmy?
The next one is,
No, this one. Jeez.
oh, what do you want to see, this thing? This thing here? Is that what you want to see?
Are they Ocean Ave or
This is, the one we just did was Ocean Ave.
18
18
Ocean.
Ocean Ave.
wrong one?
See how easy it is for us to screw the paperwork up?
Yeah, do this, and, no, give me those in your hand, please.
Yeah, but where's the cover to
I
it?
get those.
This is Ocean Avenue?
Yeah. One sec.
We're gonna see if that new assistant planner can catch us making some of these mistakes, that's all. And what do we got here? Who's this? 21, 22.
Monique, you get all these variances, right? You took note? Okay,
Correct, yes.
She's typing them in on her notepad on her cell phone.
nice. All right, can I get this paper back?
This one, which one's this? This is coming back on this
Yes,
Ocean Ave?
that's
And
onto
this is Ocean
Ocean
Ave?
Ave.
And you guys both signed it?
Yes.
All I
Jake.
need is Jake.
Here you go, buddy.
Yeah, you need this page.
All right, Sharon Cates,
Sharon Cates.
21-22, 240 Onset Ave.
And I need the other page to this. Just do it on your laptop.
That's different.
Is this Ocean Ave?
Yeah.
Finneman, okay, okay. And is there a cover page? Is there a third page to this?
Yeah. Here you go. So,
Thank you. You got anything to turn back, or are you all good back there, Jake?
he's good.
Thank you, sorry. Just
Thanks
keep,
a lot.
just so we don't get stuff in this file. This goes in the trash. This is this, what is this? Okay. If we don't put them away, we get them cross-filed, and then it gets to be real messy. 21, 22. Okay. Here's two for you. Here's two for you. You can be looking at it while we're, give one to Jake. The Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on July 13th, 2022 at 6:30 PM in room 320 of the Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. 02571, to consider petition number 21-22 for a variance from the requirements of section 622 under the Wareham zoning bylaws to Sharon Cates of 174 Packard Street, Plymouth, Mass., proposing a new dwelling unit at the subject property located at 240 Onset Ave, Mass. That appears on Assessors Map 1, Lot 532, in the Onset Village 2 zoning district.
All right, name and address, please, for record.
I'm Sharon Cates, 174 Packard Street in Plymouth.
Okay, sir,
My name is Wade Keene, contractor.
you want to get this closer to you?
Wade Keene, contractor.
All right, and sir?
Michael Cates.
Okay, who's presenting case? What are you trying to do there?
I had purchased the property and I run a business upstairs and I just have a downstairs that's sitting there, so I was trying to build a unit to put my father in it. So I was asking to go for multi-use.
Mixed
Versus
use.
the commercial, mixed use.
And if I'm familiar with the property, the first floor that you run your business out of faces Onset Avenue at grade, and the lower level faces a side street, also at grade, because it's a walkout?
Yes.
So there's not a problem with it, subgrade?
What kind of business upstairs?
I have a dog grooming.
All right, let's start by Troy. What do you think?
I don't have a problem with it.
That's Onset Village.
Onset Village 2.
See, the bylaw requires 10,000 square feet to have 2 units, but I don't know how to look at it as a commercial and 1 unit.
Mixed use.
All right, let me look. Okay,
We
while
could
I'm
call
here,
it-
Veronica, what do you think, what I'm looking at?
I'm a little confused because was I looking at something different with the police department being upstairs?
Used to be.
That's the same
The
building.
fire.
It's the same building?
It is.
Oh, okay. So, and there was a note about checking to see if this was a pre-existing small lot, so that you would have that exemption or something? I don't know, is there a letter
I'm
in
not
there?
going outside of the building at all. Everything that I'm gonna do is internal.
So here's my question. Why can't we treat it as a home occupation and do a change of use?
That's what I was thinking.
Great minds.
That's what.
He was
I
thinking the
pretty
same
much-
thing. We may not even have to deny you after all.
Good, no denials. We don't like denials.
Let me think. Then she needs
Telepathy.
she needs you got a permit. How'd you get a permit for dog grooming? You just went to the town and
Didn't,
got
she
it?
just opened
I-
it up and nobody said she needed one.
I went to the town and everything. I've been in Wareham with my business. I was renting, but I've been here for 11 years with the business now.
So when did you buy it?
I bought it in August of last year.
Jake, what do you think?
I'm okay with it at this time.
What I mean, I don't know how to approach it, but Jim is right. You could do a residential, then make it an in-home.
Do a change of use and call it an in-home business. Lots of people, people pet their dogs in their house, they let them pee in the carpet, they walk them outside, the dogs come to her.
Anyone in the public want to speak for or against this project? No? Let me ask you, how many dogs you do there?
At a time.
At a time, I usually don't have no more than 3 on the property unless if it's somebody that can't pick up till like the end of the day every now
And
and
where do
then.
you go to the town clerk and you get a permit?
Yep,
Certificate, like a business certificate?
I have the business certificate and everything.
It's been,
What's
it's
the
been,
wishes?
it's been mailed, the neighbors know what she's up to.
Well, I think
They're all my clients.
parking is a question. I guess I would have a question about that, just to kind of see, I mean, there's not a whole lot of how things would be laid out. It's a little bit different from having a home office. I think I like that idea better than granting a variance for multi-use, because it really
We're not
is
gonna
a thing.
grant a variance for multi-use. We're gonna overturn the building inspector decision, and she could get a residential use.
And Veronica's
Home
saying she
occupation.
likes that idea.
Yeah, a home
She's saying she likes
occupation.
that idea.
Home occupation. Charlie, any input in this? No? Again,
This is the little triangle lot, right? It's the shape of a triangle. It almost looks like a delta, like a stealth fighter, if you look at the, okay. And the police used to park cars down there, so you have off-street parking.
Yeah, but probably
Off the side street, maybe.
six cars
6
anyways,
cars.
I would think. Like I could jam them in even more, but I
And
think like
who's
if
this
it's
young
6.
man that you're gonna put living there?
My father.
And how many cars do you have, sir?
He doesn't drive.
You don't drive?
was that at any point, was it a residential there?
No, it's the old
As
police
far as I
department.
know, it's always been commercial. It was the Onset Water Building way back when, which turned into the police subdivision.
Yeah, but that's an existing commercial to change the use. You need a variance. Because it's not a conforming lot, that's the thing.
Well, his letter does say she needs a variance, does,
Yeah,
under
it is a
section
variance.
622.
It is a variance, she's changing, it's an existing non-conforming business, commercial. I personally wanna sleep on it a little bit, ask a few questions and get back.
You want to talk to the commissioner before you vote on it?
Just wanna go by, think about it. You see, we're creating a second dwelling, basically a second unit. I don't
Well, are
mind,
we creating a second, are we creating a second, or are we creating, turning the whole thing into one and changing the use? We changing it from a commercial to a residential with a home occupation?
yeah, that's what I wanna check. Give out a,
Is that like one, it's, you know, if a doctor sees
I know.
people at his house, it's not too,
right, that's, but it's still a variance to change the use,
yeah, no, the change of use,
because that's existing non-conforming.
so if you're not comfortable, unless the rest of us feel like overruling you,
Yeah, that's fine, I'm okay with that.
do you want to throw the chair under the bus, or do you want to
That's fine,
continue?
you can throw me.
What do you think, Veronica?
I would like to sleep on it as well.
You want, so now the chair and his ex-wife want to sleep on it.
To throw that in.
I had to throw that in there. How could I not? How could I not?
Be careful how you spell it.
Be careful how you sell it.
How you
Okay.
spell it.
I spell it. Okay, so
Sleep on it.
I make a motion that we continue to the next meeting and,
So
give-
we're gonna continue for 2 weeks, think about it. See what's the best way we could approach it. Is that all right with you? And you guys will come back on the 27th.
come back on the 27th, so he can go talk to the building commissioner. Jake's just gonna say yes, because he's a good guy. Troy hasn't decided yet, because he's too new to the board. And,
Veronica's the mean one.
Veronica just, you know, she's just the sleepy
She
one.
needs to
that's all.
question everything.
Listen, watch out for them quiet ones, though, you know? All right, so we'll see you in 2 weeks.
You won't get a
Not making a
notice, so
decision tonight,
just
we're
show
gonna,
up.
Is there a way, I never got the agenda for today. I know you guys said it was emailed out. Is there?
Online.
So I can just go online, but I want it for in 2 weeks, just so I know where.
It won't be, yeah, you'll be on the agenda, but, and nobody will be notified. It's just you have to be here.
On the 27th, make sure you're here.
So
July-
6:30
July
still.
27th.
6:30.
Put it in your calendar.
All right, so we
Oh,
have a
I
motion to
can't.
continue, what's
Yes, I
on,
can.
which that one? 21-22 till 27 by Jim. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by,
Second, all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Oppose, abstain. We'll see you on the 27th.
Next month I'm going.
Oh, okay.
We'll see you on the 27th. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
22-22, Edward Pimentel, Nanomet Street.
This is the one we were just looking at, right?
No, I have it here, I wrote, but I don't wanna,
Oh, you don't want to lose it.
I don't wanna lose it because I wrote on it. I'll leave
You
it
gonna
on,
you gonna keep it? You
I
can
keep it, yeah. I'll leave it on my thing.
240 on set.
Just hate to crossfire all these things. So we're gonna continue Kate's, continue. Okay, you're the very last one, you're our last hope of saying no to somebody, you know. Edward Pimentel, 2222. But you might get a slide because we put somebody in purgatory and told him to come back, so you still got a fighting chance. Here you go. 1, 2. 1. Thank you. 2. Here goes. Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on July 13th, 2022 at 6:30 PM in room 320 of the Wareham Multi-Service and 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. 02571, to consider petition 22-22 for a variance from the requirements of Article 6, Table 621, under the Wareham zoning bylaws to Edward Pimentel of 52 Nanamet Street, Wareham, Mass., proposing to construct an attached residential garage at the subject property located at 52 Nanamet Street, Wareham, Mass. That appears on Assessors Map 3, Lot 11, in the MR30 zoning district.
Okay, need your name and address for the record?
Edward Pimentel, 52 Nanamet Street, Buzzards Bay.
Okay, so what are you trying to do?
Build a garage attached to the house. I know it's a little close to the property line on one end.
So you want to build a garage or an apartment?
No, just a garage.
Okay.
That's it.
What's the note say, Jimmy? It
An
says-
apartment for his car.
That's two-car garage.
Two-car garage, what's the note say? What is the public hearing, what's the public announcement say?
Okay, okay.
Residential, an attached residential garage, not a car.
Okay.
They threw that word residential in there just to confuse me.
So you put in a, how high is the garage?
It's gonna be lower than the house. The house is a raised ranch.
Okay.
Not a raised ranch, straight ranch. It'll be a foot lower than the peak that's there now.
So nothing above the garage?
No, no.
So everything that's in your shed now has to go in your garage with a car?
How are you gonna access this garage?
Through a door in the back and a door in the front.
Are you in a corner lot? I get you, I get you. I'm looking at Bay Street. All right.
Oh.
So we have a variance on setbacks.
And it's really only, no, it's not, okay.
Maximum building coverage.
So if you shifted the garage towards Nanamet Street, you could get some relief on the setback. Am I seeing this right? Instead of setting it back from the front of the house, if you stepped it forward, you could get more room back here.
Yeah.
But I don't know who lives on the lot behind it.
Is that
I do. We do. We own the property behind
You own
us.
you own the lot behind you?
Yes,
Under a separate name or under the same name?
same name.
Then you don't have a problem because the lots become combined. Just because it's drawn this way doesn't mean it's right. When you own multiple properties with contiguous points, you have to combine and continue to combine until you conform. You don't have a separate lot. This is all one lot. You might think you have two lots, two to build on, but you don't.
There's a house on the back.
That's good, right?
Pardon me?
That's good.
If there's no, is there an existing house on the other lot?
Yes.
Oh, well, then, everything I said, raise your throat
That's
out,
not good.
or tear the house down.
We thought about it.
If it's that bad, but, okay, sorry.
There is a house on the back?
There's a house, so that he owns the
Don't
house.
ever tear it down if you
Don't
don't want it.
bother.
If you want it there, don't ever tear it down, because you won't be able to put it together. Back.
Right.
You get it, right?
Yeah.
Once it comes down, it don't go back.
That's it.
Unless
Becomes,
you do it right.
Yeah, you just gotta do the steps right. If you ever wanted to do something with it, make sure you have approval before you do anything to rebuild it, if you want to.
Okay.
Okay, but the existing shed is non-conforming,
Oh, but big time.
right?
It's gonna
So
be
it's
removed.
existing non-conforming, so if the board,
He's
who
making
wrote
it-
this letter, it should have it 1352. If we believe it's not so detrimental, we can act upon it as a special permit, not a variance. You guys all agree that the shed is non-conforming?
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right. Where's the letter from the building
The
inspector?
the
Oh,
coverage
right here.
was 30, is higher, I think he's saying,
The
right?
what?
The coverage, lot coverage, maybe?
I think it's the setbacks that he's, but let's look and see what he's, let's not think.
The lot
I get in
coverage.
trouble when I think.
Maximum
Side and rear
building coverage,
setback,
36.
building coverage, those are his two, yeah.
Existing 23, he wants 36, and there was, and requires 25. But if you add the one behind him,
Well, he can't, he's got a, sorry, it's like a septic.
how big is the house in the back? The footprint?
It's probably,
700,
what is it?
740 square feet.
740 square feet?
And it's 5,000 square feet lot?
No, that's my lot. The lot behind me? I don't know what the size is. It's pretty close. It's probably a little bigger
Oh.
than my lot.
All right, the setback, we could act on it if we feel it's not detrimental, substantially not detrimental, a special permit. We have to give him a variance if the board wishes to for the coverage, that's all.
Well, I think we should see if anybody in the neighborhood here is here to squawk before we make that.
Is it, there's an existing concrete retaining wall that actually is on the other lot, extending from this lot to the other one, right? Is that right?
No, that's on the property line.
Yeah.
It's just a little block wall.
Yeah, looks like it's over the property line.
Where?
Is there anyone in the
that-
public
that-
want to speak
that's
in
all- that
favor
is
or
the
against?
property line.
You want to come forward? Just your name and address, please.
My name's Joe Nato. I live at 54 Nanumet Street in Buzzards Bay. I am south of Ed, right next door.
Yeah.
And I'm in favor of the project. Ed and Kathy, I couldn't ask for better neighbors, so.
That's a good thing. All right, thank you.
Yeah,
Anyone
yeah,
else?
3 lot 22, Joseph Nadeau, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, you want to come forward if you want to speak? State your name and address.
Louise Miller, 50 Nanumet Street, and we are here in favor of them as well.
All right, thank you. Thanks, ma'am. All right.
The neighbors like him, they want him to get closer to him. So, I don't think it's detrimental to the neighborhood if the neighbor's showing up and saying yay.
All right. Oops, sorry.
Must be a pretty ugly car you want to put in that garage, huh?
You want to add anything? Are you good?
I'm good.
Good. Let's move to close.
Make a motion to close the public portion of this hearing.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Oppose, abstain. All right, on the, let's act on, whether the coverage or the building coverage, that's gonna be a variance. How's the board feel about it?
So I would move to grant a variance for the, what was it, FAR we're off, or what area?
Building coverage.
Building coverage, that's the FAR.
No,
No,
Floor area ratio.
no,
no, FAR.
lot coverage.
Lot coverage.
Lot coverage, okay.
That's lot
Lot
coverage.
coverage. That's right. I always argue that lot coverage and FAR should be one and the same. They're not.
Yeah, it's lot.
That's right, okay. So I make a motion that we grant a
Building
variance
coverage,
for
yeah.
lot coverage.
All right, we have a motion to grant a variance for the building coverage from 23% to 36%. And under the circumstances, we're just gonna say it meets statutory requirement for MGL 40, Section 10. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Second by Jake. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Oppose, abstain. So that's the coverage.
Okay,
And
now I make,
regarding the setback, does the board feel it's substantially detrimental or not?
Non-detrimental.
Okay, so we'll
I'll
act on
second
it as
that.
as a special permit. Okay, do I have a, so we have a motion by Jim, second by Veronica. All in favor on that, to act on it as a special permit, say aye.
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 Aye, oppose, abstain. On the special permit,
So moved,
okay, as presented. with
As
standard
presented.
condition.
with standard conditions, yes.
Okay, do I have a second on that?
Second.
Second by Jake, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, oppose, abstain. Carries 500. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Well, I'll tell you, them people coming next week or in, next meeting, everybody got a yes, everybody got a yes tonight, man. We're building up them nose, I'll tell you right
Have
now.
a good night.
You too. What's that? No, I was very shy. I was very shy and very withdrawn in high school. Proposed amendment zoning bylaw, Article 6, referred by the planning board. Already, I didn't mean to, I just didn't want everybody to think we were ready to run out.
All right, sign this, let me write some notes in here.
Keep that for now. Sign this and you'll write your notes. You guys don't need, oh, I might as well just give you the one page, make it easier. And you've already signed it, so all we need is Jakey. I don't know why we get you all the way down. This is, Rick, so. Was it lonely down here? Okay. Everybody signed. And the chairman's writing a book over there on why we signed it. Thank you, sir. And are you going to be the presenter for this next thing?
Yes. Are you ready?
You're ready.
Are you?
Well, you look like you're sitting on the edge of your seat. You're ready to jump right out and just start telling us, this is the way it's going to be, gentlemen and lady. And if you don't like it, tell me.
About that zoning thing?
Yeah, that's,
All right, let's hear it.
Okay.
You want to keep writing what?
Yeah, I'm fine, yeah.
Okay. Are you going to put it up on the screen? Oh,
am.
you are going to put it up on the screen.
Okay, yes, I did not distribute this. I didn't print this to be distributed, but I think I gave this to you guys at some point last week. The planning board is in the middle of proposing some changes to different articles. The article before you is Article 6, density and dimensional regulations. Essentially, the changes that they've made are not substantial in any way. And I'm happy to walk you through it. So on the first page, they've just noted 30 feet numerically for clarity. They've also,
We don't have it printed somewhere?
no, I didn't print it for you, I'm sorry.
All right.
So,
Should I zoom in? That way it's bigger?
so wait a minute, we can, okay.
All right, so what they changing for 30 feet? That just right in 30?
It used to be,
Correct.
it used to be the word 30, and now it's the word with 30 in parentheses? the
Exactly.
Numerical?
Yes, 100% of the changes are just to increase the readability of the document and make it consistent with the rest of the bylaw. But there are no substantial changes. So,
Okay, next one.
yes. Okay, so, and then just some grammar changes. They've changed distance to distant. They've added a numerical 30 when referencing the word 30. On the second page, on the first paragraph. Again, they've changed the written single-family and just put numerically the number 1 dash family dwelling. They've done the same and just, yeah.
And so other residential use, we see the whole thing on that? It's a little too high. Oh, yeah, okay.
There you are. I can read it if aloud, if that's helpful.
That, I find that confusing. Other residential use, multiple family, which is defined as 3 or 4 attached units in apartments, which is defined as 5 or more units. What does that mean? Am I not reading that
What
right?
is an other residential use? No, what?
Well, it's,
Huh?
Village district, that's other residential.
No, but we're saying how many feet they have a 1-family, a 2-family, or an other residential use. If you're not using it as a 1, as a 2, other is what, 3 or more?
They're
but then
saying
it says
multiple
5 or
family.
more attached, so it says it's 3 or 4, and then it says it's 5 or more, so what is it? 3 and up?
Yeah, I think that was the intent, yes.
It's very confusing.
Okay, so, all right, so I
So,
can make a note that this
We
is.
had a big conundrum about the
Yeah.
term other residential use recently, within the last few months. So, when something has a requirement of X number of feet for a single family, and then how many additional feet to go to a 2-family, I always assumed that you need the 1-family requirement, like, let's just use MR 30, because I know it. You need 30,000 square feet to get a single family. If you want to get a 2-family, you need 15,000 more, or 45,000.
Okay.
Okay. Then there's other residential use. Does that go on top of the 45,000, or?
No, other
It's been interpreted as, okay, if you're doing a 3-family, you only need 30,000 square feet.
Well, what is that star 1 reference?
Let me put my
Go
2
ahead,
cents on
yeah,
it. The village district is in other residential use. On the village district, for instance, Wareham Village 2, you need 15,000 to have 1 or 2 family. If you want 3 units, you need 17,000. If you want 4 units, you add 2,000 as you go.
I understand that, but it's not the way it's.
Then in the residential, it's 30,000. If it's MR30 or R30, you can do duplex for 45,000.
Right.
However, R30, that's it. You can't go 3 units. Only in MR30.
Why don't they just call it additional units? Other residential use, what does that even mean? If you're not living there, what are you doing? Why, is it a unit? It's an additional unit.
See what we're saying? It's.
Okay.
Okay, well, they have to fix the other. Remember, we had that big issue,
Yeah.
the other.
Yes, that's the point I'm trying to make.
I saw the other residential as village. Okay, it should say in the MR30, each additional, or 30 star 2. Is that a star, what's a star 1? In the
Star
bottom.
1, yeah,
I bet you it says for each additional unit. What's it say?
It references permitted in the residential cluster development.
For each additional unit, then it's a star 2, not star 1.
So it should be star
Right.
1 and star 2.
Well, it's saying for R30, that's what it is, right?
MR30.
Oh,
No,
MR.
R30. It's
Charlie,
on
let
there as
Charlie say
R30.
something.
I think what it means, when you look at the other residential use and you go over to the MR30 column, it says that 30,000 square feet, and then it's got the star 2.
Mm-hmm. And then
So
no.
down at the bottom where the 2 is, it says for each additional unit. So if you've got more than a 2-family unit, or 2-unit building, and you go to 3, you, as Nazi also said a little further back, you need 75,000 square feet, because for that additional unit, you need another 30,000.
You need another single family on MR30.
Just in the MR30 district, a 1-family is 30, a 2-family is 45, And other residential use, which would be more than a two-family, means that for every additional unit, you add 30,000 square feet of area.
Why doesn't it just
That's what
say
the
additional
law is
units?
saying.
It's a typo.
No, it says other residential use. What is an other residential use? You're gonna, it's a dwelling or it's a?
No,
Three-family.
other residential use,
It
if
simply
you do
means more than
multiple
two.
dwelling.
Yeah,
So
so
what's
why
your-
wouldn't it just say additional dwellings or additional
No,
units?
remember we had is
But
on
what
I
all,
I'm
think
saying
that
is
the-
change the words from other residential use to per additional dwelling,
Yes.
or
Per
something like
additional
that.
dwelling.
Get rid of the other get rid of the ambiguous wording and change other residential use to additional residential units, or something,
Yes,
something
right.
that's
Or
clearer.
additional dwellings. And that sentence for 3 is very confusing because it says it means 3 or 4, it means 5 or 6. It just means
Right.
more than 3 or more than 3 or more is what it
Okay.
means, right?
Yes. Okay, 3 or more. And I think that why they used this, you know, they inserted this as opposed to just have, you know, this was what was existing.
all right, let me go back, please. On a strip commercial, that was the big thing on Old Glen Charlie Road.
Yeah.
One family dwelling is 30,000, two family dwelling is 45,000. Then it says other residential units, 20,000. When they came, they said, oh, 20,000, I could put 10 units.
But it's gotta say
Right.
per unit, per
Now,
additional
the
unit.
typo was, it should have been next to it, for instance, star 1 for or star 2 or 3, and says for each additional unit, 20,000 in a commercial strip. If you are an MR30, it should be 30,000 for each.
So again, the words other residential use need to get changed
Each
to
additional-
per additional unit,
Additional dwelling, right.
per additional dwelling unit, or whatever.
Right, so if you have 75,000, if you have 95,000 lot in commercials, strip commercial, you could do 3 units. Okay? So it's
See the
it's
strip
each
commercial.
additional above the 45,
Are you following us?
Not
Because
sure.
we're not.
We can't,
no?
Are you with us, Monique?
I am, I'm with you.
You get where you get where we're,
I don't believe her.
Yes.
Is this the issue, in which zone is the problem?
it's in all zones, it's a
well,
problem. It's
R30,
terrible wording.
other residential use is effective in R30.
All right, hold on one
MR30.
second. Well, let's do one at a time. Strip commercial, it says residential use. It should be each additional residential, 20,000.
In the
That's one
chart.
at a time.
Yeah, we can't see it though, Monique. Is it, we can only see, oh, that
Sorry.
only goes to MR30. Gotcha, okay.
Yeah, so where
Go to the
are
next
we?
page, next page. One more.
There's
Go
OV,
down.
that's.
Village commercial, now we're talking, okay, commercial strip, okay, that's
See
the
what it says,
district.
other residential use, 20,000?
Uh-huh.
That should say each additional unit is 20,000.
Each
above.
additional unit,
Well, it says for additional
20,000.
dwelling units, 1,000.
Huh?
Yeah, so,
See, look at the top one.
well, that, for first dwelling unit apartments in mixed use, so is that specifically for commercial general? Because there's no mixed use in commercial strip. It's only commercial general.
Guys, before we go on any further, I was supposed to watch my nephew tonight.
All right, you
And
can.
it's getting pretty late.
All right,
I don't want to
you
leave
can
him
leave.
Take
hanging.
off vote, and you can leave.
No, you don't need to vote, you could leave.
I think you guys can take care of this.
Monique, go back there, please.
Okay, CS.
For the record, Jake Morrison leaving at 9 o'clock, 8:59.
And for the record, Jim's gonna go to the little boys' room and get rid of a cup of coffee.
Someone's going to party on Wednesday night at 9 o'clock, so he's got to babysit.
What is this? What edition is that? What edition is that bylaw?
This is, oh, that's a good question. I'm assuming that this is the 2019 one that I have, the latest? I'm sorry, 2021?
I have 21, but it doesn't say that.
Let me take a look.
June 2021, right, was the latest? Was that it?
Yes, June 2021, section 6.
Yeah, it was sent to us. But I guess in order to speed time, can we just actually ask the?
No, I get this. That's in the general commercial. It's not in the strip commercial, that 1,000 and 5,000.
Yeah.
Hold on, let's take a break. I gotta go to the bathroom as well.
Okay,
Give us
bye.
a few minutes. I wish we had it printed so we could see better.
Actually, this can't be the correct bylaw, because I don't have this, what's on the screen, in my bylaw. That would be a great thing to know, is which bylaw we're using. This is what mine looks like. When we're talking about CS, it doesn't, there's nothing else.
Oh, what happened there? Yeah.
I don't know,
Huh.
so.
Oh, yeah, something. And yours is dated June 12th, 2021, so yeah, is it on the next page?
No,
Nope.
they just don't
CG is not even there,
Right, so.
and the rest of it. Maybe it was a typo?
Does anybody have a bylaw? Charlie, do you
I don't have mine with me.
Yeah, I've got the 2019 version, and it's all different than that.
2021.
Can I see the 2019, is that one online? Is that what?
be
No,
the
I
same
had
as
copied
hers,
it
right, page
from what was online.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it's missing.
So, this is interesting.
Okay.
I feel like this, thank you.
Thanks.
Discussion might not be that fruitful.
Well, as we go through, that's an edit, I guess, right? Maybe that needs to be,
Monique, is that the one that Jane updated to put all the commercial districts all the same? Because you have to scroll down 2 or 3 pages to get to the general commercial in the 2019 version. Did she sort of pull that all together?
So, it's my understanding that this is her document that we're looking at,
Ah, okay. So it is a change from what's in the,
but it should be in red.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. But like, I'm on page, what page am I on? 56 of the 2019 one, and that's where the general commercial district standards are. Then it's got dimensional standards for existing small lots on that same page. But you gotta scroll up 3 or 4 pages to get to the CS.
One of the, if I could weigh in, because I'm part of the planning board meeting, I did hear her talk about shuffling some things around so that they wound up going where they need to be, not where they are. So theoretically, this could be in an entirely different section and should be used here.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing just not be red.
Yeah, and some of the things you're seeing under the CS district for your other residential uses and where it talks about 5,000 and 1,000, you find that in the general commercial district.
oh, does that have a page number? The one that you're looking at, Monique? On there, does that have a page number?
No,
There are no page numbers noted?
no page numbers.
Didn't she copy just Article 6 out and then
I think that
work
she,
it up,
yeah, I think that she,
not the whole bylaw?
right, yep, so only the pages that had changes.
I got here. Pimento. What is this? Jake.
I know she didn't change any of the numbers.
Right,
All she did was sort of consolidate things a little bit so that all the commercial requirements were together.
okay.
I did notice, if you guys went forward, which I hoped you did, I did notice on setbacks, something was changed from 10 to 20 in industrial. And I wondered why.
All right, is this gonna go on the next town meeting on the warrant? I wanna change it?
That is the idea. I know that they were thinking that, for example, that most of the changes were just making it more, readable, increasing the readability of the
All right,
document.
so going back to the strip commercial, it should,
Right.
we recommend that it should say each additional unit, 20,000 square feet. Okay, you wanna go to general commercial.
Uh-huh.
Which other one they wanna fix?
Okay, so from the top, right?
Yeah.
So, are you guys okay with non-residential use or no?
No, you gotta read it. I can't read the whole thing. I can't,
Sure.
or just make it louder, bigger.
Louder. I like louder.
Each zoning,
District in the town of Wareham has a table of area, frontage, and setback and height requirements. Each table has 4 use categories. 1, one family dwelling. 2, two-family dwelling. 2, attached units or duplex. 3, your change was
Additional dwelling units?
additional dwelling units, which is defined as 3 or 4 attached units, and apartments, which is defined as 5 or, no, we're
Yeah,
we're leaving
that
all
needs
that.
to change.
Period.
additional residential use, but we'll fix it in here.
Yeah, and the
Okay.
multifamily makes sense to be there.
Okay. All right, and 4, non-residential use, which includes all other non-residential uses allowed in the district. Note that area requirements differ from developments on a municipal sewer to those on septic systems.
I didn't get that last note. What's it mean? That our requirements differ from development on
Area requirements,
those on septic. Yeah,
He can't record
saying-
everything you're saying.
I'm sorry, I'm back here.
That's all right. We want to get you in court, and we want to get you on.
So that last sentence, somebody explain it to me.
So if you're on a septic versus town sewer, the requirement for area is gonna be different.
Okay.
right, and
All
so
right,
instead
okay.
of saying and, if you're comparing, you would just use 2. So they're
Okay.
just making it more clear that it's a comparison, it's not this and this.
All right.
Okay, other changes include, down here, the building coverage. So instead of NR, which I believed is not required,
Yeah.
in the current bylaw, they decided to make it a dash. They didn't want to leave it blank. They thought that the dash felt intentional. It wasn't left behind. And so they just decided to switch all NRs to the dash.
Dash? What- or
correct.
Not required, and
I think,
take that not required, put a dash? Why?
I think they, in that list, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's listed NA, which means it's not applicable.
Yeah.
Right.
So rather than say not applicable, which doesn't make any sense, it was just to put a dash in there.
Okay, fair enough.
Yes. So that takes care of this.
But some of the NRs are going to NAs.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is.
Oh, not allowed, not applicable. Gotcha.
Right,
Okay.
not allowed. So
not
since it's
allowed.
not allowed, it was to be a dash.
Okay.
Okay. So that was a change that they had. This is consistent with that change. They're just putting the dash for not required.
NR means no regulation, NA
All right.
says use not allowed. That's-
Right.
That's what the footnote is at the bottom of that.
Can you make sure they change this to each additional unit 20,000, because that's been a big problem.
Yeah,
Okay.
right there with
So,
Other residential unit, put each additional unit 20,000.
But see, 2 lines below that, Nazi, it says that.
Where?
Yeah, it's for commercial
No, for
general.
general commercial.
I
That's
think
for
those lines are
general.
specifically are,
Okay,
That's a
okay.
different district.
Okay, so why can't they just both be under the same line and get rid of that whole line altogether of other residential units and put the 20 down where it says for additional dwelling units?
No, that's for general commercial, Jim, not for.
no, but you could fill it in under CS at
It ju-
20 and just
what-
get rid of other
You just can
residential
get rid of the
use.
whole damn line that says other residential use and move it down for each additional dwelling unit. See it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, you could get rid of that and next to the 1,000.
That's
put
how we
the-
save paper.
right?
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying, Monique?
Yes, and I have I'll get the recording that way.
Well, yeah, although it wouldn't be consistent with the one that's below it, I think maybe for consistency,
For
it's set like
consistent,
that.
yeah. So do you want to change them all?
Yes,
Okay.
I would change them, I would fix it everywhere.
Let me go back a bit. So
Either
in the
that-
general commercial, right? So if for the first dwelling, if you do an apartment mixed use, so you make a store on the first floor. If you have a 40,000 square feet lot on the second floor, you could do 5,000. You could do 35 units. That's not good.
Why? We need housing.
No, this, do you understand?
school, they don't have
Correct
enough
me if
kids
I'm
in-
wrong, Charlie. On
Parking.
general commercial, say you have a 40,000 square foot lot. They saying on a mixed use, you put your stores downstairs, barber, insurance agency. On the second floor, 40,000. The first apartment, you need 5,000. For each additional apartment, 1,000. 40,000, that's 35 units, that's 36 units.
To be honest with you, I haven't studied this enough to be able to tell you. I'd have to go back and see what the allowed uses are in the general commercial district.
Well, it's
Well,
right there.
Wait a minute, but Marzi, see the first dwelling unit, apartments?
Yeah.
Plus mixed use.
Right,
Okay, so in order to have mixed use, right,
yeah.
the non-residential use requires 30,000 square feet.
Where? What are you talking?
Go down two more lines.
Yeah.
Non-residential use, go over.
30,000. So if you have a lot, 40,000 square feet, you throw a store, that's a mixed use. You
Commercial.
put a barber shop, then in the 40,000, you throw another 36 units. I like it. I got a pass.
It's conflicting, though. No, that does conflict, because Jim is saying non-residential use would be commercial. So how could you have it mixed at 5 if the requirement is 40?
Non-residential use, that's in the strip commercial. I'm talking in the general
General,
commercial.
yeah, you're over, so we need to
Yeah.
we need to throw something in general commercial, or?
So I see what you're saying. So non-residential use on septic in commercial general would be 40. It's like those lines should be above the first dwelling unit.
You go back to the table for all of the various uses in the district. In the CG district, single-family,
Is not allowed?
two-family, 3, 4 dwellings, 5-family dwellings, they're not allowed. The only thing that is apartments in a mixed-use building, and that's it.
Right, single family, but mixed use, you could put.
Well, you gotta define what mixed use is, but it says no single-family dwelling in the CG district.
Right, no
Right,
single
'cause
family
it's
allowed, but
mixed.
mixed use is allowed.
Yes, mixed use is allowed.
So what Nazi's saying is right. Nazi's right.
Yeah, no, but if you read down further where you pointed that out, Jim, non-residential use on septic, if you're gonna have a mixed-use building, you're starting at 40 if you're on septic, and you're starting at 20 if you're on sewer.
Fine.
So that's conflicting. The first dwelling unit with apartments plus mixed use, you're.
No. If you have a 40,000 square foot parcel
Yeah,
on septic, and you could use it mixed use and general commercial, that's 40,000. You put your barber shop, then you go out, you put apartments, add apartments, 5,000 for the first one, and another 35 of them for 40,000
Well,
square foot.
you've gotta have the non-resident,
46,000 square feet.
No,
because there's no requirement for a non-residential.
no, you only need 40,000.
He's right. There's no, see, there's a line there.
And if
There's
you're
no-
in Sower, you only need 20,000,
Yeah,
but
you
20,000, you put 16 units.
That's what I'm saying, it's conflicting. You should be starting at 40 for your commercial, non-residential use, and then that other one, plus the mixed use. But again, like you're saying, 1,000 is a lot.
Yeah, I mean, each apartment, 1,000? That's a lot of apartments on 40,000.
Under commercial, under general, the CG is the one we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
All right, so where it says non-residential use, we need to add the 30,000 in the note 1. That's under commercial strip.
This is need, like, study shop.
Yeah, those four, well,
This
really the
needs
two
really
need to
a
be.
real study, because
This, what you're talking about is
We're making it
is
more,
important, but it goes beyond what Jane was trying to do.
Right.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the-
Yeah.
and they
That's
sort of-
something we should address very quick.
Yeah,
but we gotta at least make it yellow and make everybody aware that this is an area that needs to be
Address.
deeply discussed.
Okay.
Don't-
All right, let's go to the changes they proposing. Keep going.
Perfect. Alrighty, so the next change was just, what is this, industrial?
Institutional, you're gonna call INS instead of
Ah,
INST.
perfect, yes. Non-residential use,
So there we go from 10 to 20, or from non-residential use, side rear setback.
right,
It says 10 now and we're going to 20, or it says 20 now and we're going, I don't get what that,
It changed to 20.
The line is through it. It's the whole.
we're taking the 10 out. The 10
Right.
is red. So why are we going from 10-foot setback to 20-foot setback? Let them have a common wall, make it 5 feet instead of 20.
non-residential.
What is that?
I
column?
think
Is
the
that
idea is
strip commercial?
that, for all the other requirements, the non-residential is more, I don't know.
What's that,
So
col-
industrial's
which
20.
column is
Ask.
that? Which
This is
col-
for,
Industrial.
IND.
Industrial. Oh,
Industrial.
institutions, 20.
Industrial. So why are we going from 10 to 20?
I am happy to get clarity on that and then
Yeah, I
let you
just
guys
don't-
know.
Yeah. 'Cause
Perfect.
If you're in an industrial area, who as long as the fire truck can fit between the buildings, if I got a 10-foot and my neighbor has a 10-foot, that's 20 feet.
Mm-hmm,
They can get between them.
right. What's the big deal? Okay, and then the other changes in terms of, the dashes and the not allowed, just making that consistent. So for the next page, the maximum allowed floor area, it said ration, so she's changing it to say ratio. And then she's also adding or 75%, just to be clear. And I believe, let me see, I think that those are all the changes
everything?
in red. Yes. That should be everything.
I think we should have a nice workshop with the planning board. There's a lot to be fixed, and there's a lot of flaws in here, a lot.
Well, this is the ones
I
we're
think they
talking
know
about
that.
tonight. She's gonna bring us a batch every meeting now.
I mean, this bylaw online doesn't have the general commercial like you showed me.
Right, I think that Jane, just put this together, so I don't think it should look like the bylaw. I think the intent was just to show what she has
Like
changed.
the bylaw online, have a strip commercial, don't have the general commercial on the,
Jane, planning?
on
Yeah.
Article 6.
A board
it's
member.
like, it's like 3 or 4 pages beyond that,
Correct.
Nazi.
The general commercial?
Yeah. Yeah, scroll down beyond the accessory buildings, the industrial district, then all of a sudden you come to the general commercial.
It's not here. Dimensional. Okay. Stand general commercial, okay.
So I think what she wanted to do was take that whole table.
Yeah,
and,
but it doesn't have the density. This one doesn't say density.
It's,
Oh, yeah, it does, it does.
yeah, 20 and 40, that's where the sewer and on-septic come in.
Yeah. Minimum lot area first.
So while we're on this subject, for what it's worth,
That's crazy.
when Requena was in power, he sat down and he went through our bylaws, and he made a bazillion recommended changes. And he went to the planning board with them, and he kind of felt like, yeah, thanks, and they threw it in a drawer somewhere and ignored him. That copy exists somewhere, and it might be a good resource for what we're doing.
Okay.
He was a nitpicker. He went through, so I don't know if you've developed a rapport
Does-
with Dave, or if there's an ongoing communication, but I know he has a copy of our bylaws that
With
he used to be able to pull
Paul.
out of his drawer and refer to all the things that he thinks should be changed.
I can definitely check with the current building commissioner.
You know, that might still exist somewhere. And he might get mad that I said that,
It's
so
not,
maybe it was
no,
a
it's not
secret.
here.
Huh?
He took it with him.
Can so are you guys, you would like to sponsor
What you've promoted so far?
no, I meant at something separate in terms of substantial changes, because I think what Jane has proposed are really just,
Yeah, we have issues in the R130 district. We talked about it a million times. People come here for a shed that they have a 10,000 square feet lot because the setback says 50 feet. They can't put a shed. They need to come for a variance.
Right.
We have an issue with a barn
Mhm.
or a garage in a residential area. You could do 7,500 square feet garage, which is crazy, or a barn.
So should we put it on the agenda as a, every
We've
time
talked
we meet?
about it, like, remember, like,
Yeah.
I mean, I live in a MR30, I could go put a garage, 7,500 square feet, that's crazy. That's 5 times the size of the house, the footprint.
I'm agreeing.
So these things should be changing, like, it can't exceed maybe 500 feet above the size of the house, or 1,000 feet, but
Okay.
we had these issues, remember, paper mill,
do.
the guy put us, who knows what this end up being. We have issue in our bylaws, I'm trying to find about the grandfather, it's a very important word. It needs to be changed. I have it on a piece of paper,
So
I can't find
I'm
it.
suggesting that we put it on our agenda at every meeting and spend 15 minutes and let Monique, you know.
yeah, well,
Does that work for you?
that works for me, but I mean, the planning board is really trying to attack different sections, and obviously, so, I'm
But
trying to
see,
think
the
about what
planning
makes
board
sense.
don't deal with these issues, nobody goes to them to put a garage, 7,500 square,
Right.
that's, they don't know it.
I suggest having a joint hearing
Maybe
with
we
the planning
should.
board
I'd
and
go
have a
for that, too.
workshop. I think that would be
I think it'll end
effective.
up just being a bitch session and you know, one up, don't get me wrong, you know, but, I mean, like, for instance, I think our marijuana bylaw needs editing. I think our drive-through bylaw needs editing. There's you know, we could go, we could go page by page by page through the bylaws and probably
Right.
find something, within every 5 pages, we could probably spend a night.
I think the idea was to take this was a low-hanging fruit opportunity, just by cleaning it up.
Yep.
Just with the time that we have left, obviously before the fall. But I think that we could definitely get together, planning, zoning, and talk about, you know, articles that you both would like to tackle, you know, with more substantial changes.
My personal opinion, again, I'm repeating myself, is that we should probably discuss things that need to be changed at the end of every meeting, and so that when it comes time to, so when we're
Absolutely.
weeks away from a town meeting, we're not trying to, at the last minute, remember what's irking us.
Or proactive planning, yeah.
We need to start a list.
If nobody throws away my folder, it's in here, all right? I got the commercial general at 1,000 mixed use, the R130 50-foot setback, and the shed sizes so far. So-
Put a shed barn, /barn, so we remember. What did we, FAR for Onset Village and Wareham Village, we should revisit
I'm
this
not in
and
agreement
change
with
it.
that, but I will write it.
And building coverage in the village district, because it's very, it just doesn't work.
I want to make a statement about something, that property that we voted on tonight. The thing about the FAR in a village district is that house is on a very small lot, it's very congested, and when you increase the FAR like that, they by right can have 2 families there. So now their square footage is big enough to have 2 families because you increased the FAR and ignored what it was. So if they want to put 2 family in that little tiny lot where there's no parking or anything, they now can because we approved it. I'm just saying.
You're right.
That's what I'm, we have to think about that when we say yes.
But they don't have 5,000 square feet, they have under 5,000.
What do you mean?
In the onset village, these people came before us, they have 4,500 square feet. You need 5,000 to have 1 or 2 family, not 4,500.
Okay, well, something that we need to think about when we're saying yes to these FARs in the village districts, because it's like giving somebody, creating a new lot.
No hot bedding.
What's that mean?
That's when you sleep in shifts. Everybody gets 8 hours to use the bed. Triple the occupancy of the house. That's how they do it on submarines. Hot bedding.
Charlie, you know what article is the grandfather? It talks about grandfather.
Yeah, I was just trying to see if I could find it somewhere.
Can I give you guys just a rundown of the changes? I'll put that into a memo, I'll circulate it, and then you guys can let me know if you have any comments. Just, you know, and those comments will go to the planning board.
Right, it's approaching midnight.
Yes.
9:30.
Tim's done it.
Tim said midnight.
Yep.
I said, I told you I was gonna do everything I could. You guys,
Administration. That's site plan.
That's okay with you,
run
Mr.
us
Chair?
down, run us over.
All
Go
right,
ahead.
let's go.
We-
Okay, so on the first page of Article 6, the ZBA feels it's fine to include a numerical 30 when referencing 30 feet. The ZBA is fine with these changes, except for, we will change number 3 to, what was it?
Each additional dwelling, right?
Each, I'll use
What
whatever you said on
Put
record.
dwelling, just to keep it consistent with
Yes,
one-family
and-
dwelling and two-family dwelling.
Perfect, and delete this line. Non-residential use. I thought that was fine. And then we, the ZBA did agree that, this change here made sense in terms of changing from and to those on septic systems. ZBA agreed with the changes in terms of NA and the dash. Same here. Oh, I will incorporate your comments, that this is an important area for you guys. Let me see. Obviously more detailed than that. You're fine with this change. You would like to know why this is changed from 10 to 20 in the industrial zone. You're fine with these changes here.
Yep.
And you're fine with ration turning to ratio, and then or 75%. And those are all of the changes.
Okay.
Thank you.
What do you think? Do you think we should make a motion to adjourn?
If you want.
It's
I
only
want-
9:30.
I wanna, yeah, if you guys wish, I wanna find that grandfather thing.
You want to stay?
Charlie's gonna make a motion in a
Grandpa, you
second.
want to stay until we, grandfather, I'm sorry. Do you want to
Not
stay
yet.
until you find it, or you want to, he's going to go home and find it, and at 2 o'clock in the morning, we're all going to get a text message.
What does it talk about?
Turn your phone off
grandfather?
now.
It talks about grandfather here. It's a very important word that need to be changed.
Grandfathered rights or
Right, the lots, grandfather lots.
The grandfather, don't the grandfather lot, for a lot to be grandfathered, doesn't it still have to, meet those, like, 5 or 6 requirements? Never owned by,
5,000 square feet, this and that.
never owned, no contiguous point with another lot owned by the same person.
Right.
But there was 5 or 6 tests that.
Would that be in chapter 40A?
Pardon me?
48?
Chapter 40A?
Yeah.
Might be.
Right, but we have it in the bylaw, Charlie.
It's in the bylaw somewhere, that what constitutes a grandfathered lot?
Yeah.
Any lot owned by a man that has.
It says 5,000 square feet,
Children,
minimum
2
50.
generations removed?
I know it's in chapter 48, but in our bylaws,
Finish your thing when you're done with it. I I just wanted to check something on that.
Definition.
Thing. Thanks.
Damn it.
Is it a definition? So when does the planning board, what are they trying to get ready for? A meeting and when? A town meeting when? Do you know?
This fall,
This
for this warrant
October?
article,
The
yes.
October town meeting?
Yes.
And everything has to be submitted by when? Do you know?
That is a great question. I do not know.
These couple of months, I think.
Yeah, it's approaching quickly.
Good amount of time, so the clock
I-
is ticking?
I know that on the 18th, so on this coming Monday, the planning board is meeting, and so they're going to discuss your comments as well as the building commissioner's comments. And then after that, on the 25th, they plan to hold a public hearing for the public regarding this warrant article specifically. Also on the agenda for this Monday is warrant article, I think it's 15. And I haven't seen any documents or changes or anything, so I'm not sure. I think
Richard
that's site plan
Simple
review.
says, night all, they shut you off on TV.
So, Nazi, to go back to that Onset Village
Yeah.
thing with the FAR,
Mm-hmm.
by right, they can have two-family. Because I'm looking at this, and the building department is just gonna, they're not gonna say no, because a one-family requires, OV1 requires 5,000. It's one family or two-family.
Correct.
Correct.
Right.
So they can automatically put two families there. That's it, because they are existing what are they gonna say? You can't have one family because you're existing? They don't even have to ask to have a two-family. They can just do it.
5,000, one or two.
Correct, so.
Right,
but-
5,000, not 4,500.
Yes, but they have one already, and they don't have 5,000, correct?
Right.
So they can have two as well.
No.
Yes, I'm telling
Exist-
you, if they go
page are
ask,
you on?
because I asked Requena about this last time when it came up, and he said, yes, they will just approve it, because it's automatic, page 57.
Right, but it's non-conforming, 4,500 square feet. They need 5,000, they could have two. 4,500, that's
They
non-conforming.
don't have to ask for permission, is what I'm telling you. It's one or two-family dwelling at 5,000.
1,000, not 45 or 49.
Okay, what I'm saying is they have a one-family, it's a pre-existing non-conforming, they can do the two, is what I'm saying.
How many square
Because-
feet?
What she's saying, she says, what Veronica's contending, Nazi, is that if they're on, let's say, a 3,000 square foot lot with a one-family, they're gonna come and they're gonna say, on page 57, it says one-family or two-family. And then you're gonna say, yeah, but it says 5,000, and they're gonna say, yeah, but we're pre-existing. And it's a
You pre-existing, non-conforming.
non-conforming use.
Right,
Correct.
because 5,000 is conforming lot.
Right, but
Not
you,
pre- Existing, non-conforming. If you have one unit, you need a variance to make two.
no, you don't. You don't
I'm
need a
not an
variance.
attorney, you gotta ask an attorney.
I'm telling you, you don't. If they go to the building department, they're gonna, it's one or two.
5,000 square
but,
feet.
so they have 4,500, it's already there, it's one or two.
No,
No, I think.
No.
It is, because they don't have to go to the building department and ask to do two.
Us guys gotta stick together, Nazi. Come on, let's beat up on her.
I'm telling you,
Troy,
I'm just
we
telling
need you. We
When you
need you,
approve
Troy.
that FAR,
No,
you're allowing
I'm
that
seeing
to-
it the way Nazi's seeing it though, really. But I get what you're saying, Veronica, honestly, I do. But then as the residential use and all this, each
Other
additional unit,
residential use.
no matter what you do, it keeps, there is a minimum so that there's really no standard saying that you have to give them that second family if they're under 5,000 feet.
right. It's existing, non-conforming.
Disagree, you do have to, 'cause it
5,000
says
is
one or two.
conforming. 5,000 square feet is a conforming lot
I know,
in
but
the
they're
village, in
pre-existing
Wareham, in Onset
non-conforming.
Village.
So one or two is by right, basically.
If you have 5,000 or more. If you don't have 5,000 or more, it's
Bulldoze
not by right.
their house.
Huh?
If they don't have 5,000 or more, they shouldn't have a single family either.
Well, they've got
It's
it.
existing, if you're saying if it exists.
Existing,
If there's
yeah.
a house on 4,500, they can't switch it to two.
What does other residential use mean?
That's the one,
Like-
that's the one that I keep saying, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Like other, if you, like a multiple, like an apartment building, condos, townhouses,
Aren't you still
single
residing there?
family.
Yeah, here, go underneath where it says bed and breakfast on OV, on any of them. It says bed and breakfast, then it says first unit 5,000, each additional unit 2,000, other non-residential use 5,000.
What does that mean?
What's a okay.
Let me see that, Jimmy.
A non-residential use, right there. So, I'm gonna use it as a dog grooming shop.
In the onset village, yeah, like
Onset
maybe, yeah, maybe in an office. Maybe a hair salon.
So that would,
Other non-residential.
that would
use.
screw the dog groomer from getting what we were proposing to do. Onset Village too, she's an OV
But
too.
wouldn't that be a mixed use if you're allowing them in other
not giving
non-residential
her-
use?
Yeah, but she's a existing non-conforming. But to switch her use, she don't have enough square footage. She needs 15,000. Oh, we can't talk about it. It's still open. What are you guys doing?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
We're trying
The
to,
one I was talking about is closed.
I don't know, but it's nowhere near midnight, so we can keep going.
I know, but I propose we end this public hearing.
You can, make a motion.
I make a motion.
Motion to adjourn?
To adjourn.
Do I have a second?
And so, the end is near.
Second.
Second by,
Now I
all in
favor
favor, say aye.
The
Aye. Oppose, abstain, we adjourn.
Jim
Thank
says
you.
no, we have to stay.